So you can either finish third or fourth or all the way to 10th. And then even in our conference tournament. So it was a feel of, a tournament atmosphere because so much was on the line. And that's what this is. I mean, every possession it's going to either indicate a separation or something different, right? A lead or trying to cut a lead. Everything's on either defensive execution or offensive execution, and you either win or go home.
We obviously didn't finish the way that we hoped we would, but still it's a new lease for everybody, and we couldn't be more excited being here and having an opportunity to move forward.
I'm super excited. This is something I dreamed of since I was a little kid, and just to be a part of it this year is huge for me and my family.
Day 2 of the opening round of the NCAA tournament gets underway about an hour, 15 minutes from now. It is a Friday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 at WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy heading up until 2 o'clock. We've got you for the next 4 hours. We'll see what happens today, how much madness is on the docket is ahead of us, because it was some madness yesterday in the first round. A lot of times we get upsets in day one and chalk the next day, or chalk one day and upsets the day after that. We'll see if some of those same sort of upsets can continue into today's day. 913-912-4810 is the text line to join us. We will talk with Matt Derrick coming up an hour from now. Get his thoughts on the NFL, the Chiefs, and some NCAA tournament. We'll see how Matt Derrick's bracket is doing today after day number 1 in the NCAA tournament. We will break down what Mizzou needs to do tonight against the Miami Hurricanes. We'll break down what Kansas needs to do against Cal Baptist to knock off the Lancers. Yeah, sure.
The Dancers, the Prancers.
That's right. To knock them off tonight.
The Fighting Dominique Daniels.
The the double Ds.
Nice.
The D squareds.
I didn't know I'm rooting for CBU tonight.
The D squareds, baby. D squared.
Well, I don't know about that one. I like the other one better.
No, that's fine. I got him in the what round did I grab him late? I don't remember. People really care about this, so I need to get it out there. 13th round pick, Dominique Daniels. I'm going to need some. I'm not saying that this is the upset that's going to happen tonight. I'm fine if he goes for 40 and KU loses, but I'm going to need some upsets along the way. I lost my second round pick yesterday in Debanza. I just wanted 2 games from BYU. Just needed 2 games from Debanza to get me 60, 70 points. I was good with it. He got me 35 last night, and then he started passing the ball. That was annoying.
Well, because Richard Wright decided, hey, what if I just,
started jacking up shots?
Just do that. You know how we have, this guy is really good? What if I
drive down the court all by myself in my lonesome and then go up against their 7-footer?
That's going to end well.
See if I can double pump against that guy. That's going to work. Yes, we will talk about the NCAA tournament today. We'll get into a little bit of and with Matt Derrick, I also want to bring up the latest with the NFL Ref Union Association, that the league is planning already for replacement refs. We'll talk a little bit about what that may mean and what they also are looking at in terms of helping the replacement refs if that comes to that, and how that can then move forward and impact with the actual refs. We'll talk about that with Matt Derrick coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer at some point. He is in St. Louis covering the Missouri Tigers, and we'll talk with him about what that scene is like and what he expects tonight from Mizzou taking on the Hurricanes. We'll see. I'm glad you're confident for the entire fan base.
Without confidence, all we have is our good looks.
That's true. That's true for you. The line has stayed the same all week. Mizzou getting 1.5. The KU Cal Baptist line went from 13.5 to 14.5. It dropped to 13.5 today. That game right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB 7:15 is when the pregame starts. 6 o'clock Kansas Nation tonight, and then KU Cal Baptist 8:45 and 9:10. Let's see if it tips at 9:10. Over under 9:20. 9:25 for Mizzou and Miami. Let's talk about what happened yesterday And some of the impressive games, 14-2 so far. Very excited about that. Sterling, you 14-2?
Lebo's bracket 14-2.
Are you really? Good for
Yeah.
you. Nice.
I think Darcy's 15-1.
Are you really, Darcy?
I need to check. The first game that I lost was UNC blowing 19-point lead.
Oh, but you didn't win it though. I lost the BYU game.
Yeah, I lost BYU as well. Yeah.
And South Florida and Louisville. Those were the only two games I lost. The
I
other
got
ones.
the BYU one wrong as well.
I told you guys about Louisville. No one believed me. Haters. I will point out the zone's doing very well.
Yeah. I'm in 9th place at the in the 8-10s bracket challenge.
Nah, I did a different one. I did a different bracket in that one. That was.
Smart.
I'm not bad though. We're
Not bad.
top 50.
There we go. All three of us. Very good. And usually the first day is what happens the rest of
Yes.
the tournament for everybody.
Stop the count. Stop
that's
the
exactly
count.
Right. I'll finish. I'll take top 10 right now. I'll take top 10 with just the couple of losses. I am actually surprised at how well I did in the first round because I picked more upsets this year, and we'll see what happens today. It was just day one where we had the 6 teams that finished. 6 higher seeded teams won yesterday. 11 VCU beat North Carolina, number 6 seed. 10 A&M beat 7 St. Mary's. 12 High Point over 5 Wisconsin. 11 Texas over 6 BYU. And then the 2 9 seeds won in TCU and SLU. And St. Louis looked really,
By the
really
way,
freaking good.
What the hell, Georgia?
Oh, you picked Georgia?
No.
Okay.
But what
Yeah.
What the heck?
SLU didn't look like a 9 seed. Yes.
Georgia didn't look like an 8.
Yeah. Well,
Georgia looked like a 16.
maybe it's because SLU didn't look like a 9.
No, I mean just in general, Georgia looked like they didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
SLU, give them so much credit. They were so fun to watch, but
I think
they
that's
put
going to be a good game.
clown shoes on Georgia.
I think St. Louis, Michigan might be a good. It's going to be not even might be. I think it's going to be a good game Saturday. Looking forward to that one. But we had those games take place, and there are 8 second-round matchups set for Saturday. Only one of those 8 is chalk. And last year, remember, we had the conversation about is the Cinderella dead? Are the mid-majors done? And High Point, obviously mid-major, that certainly counts. A&M over St. Mary's would be the exact opposite of mid-major, right? I mean, it would, but it's the 10 seed. VCU beating North Carolina.
That's the mid-major.
That's part of it. But the other, like SLU over Georgia, it's 8 and 9 seed. But when we think about the mid-majors, it's like, oh, the 11s and the 12 seeds. It's only a couple of those because 11 seed Texas is not mid-major, right? And the 9-8 isn't like a crazy upset, but it's only one that is chalk, and it's Louisville, Michigan State. And Louisville damn near blew the 20-point lead in the second half.
Yeah.
The other matchups are higher seeded teams ended up winning. You know, you got a 10 versus a 2. You got an 11 versus a 3, an 11 versus a 3, a 1 versus a 9, a 1 versus a 9.
I think where we say chalk, at least when I say chalk, I mean it from the top 4 seeds.
4 or 5. I say 4 or 5 seeds.
Okay.
But I mean 6 though, because you're talking about an 11 seed and a 6 seed. I mean,
Those are fairly close a lot of times.
they're much closer now than maybe we used to remember them being.
When I say chalk, I mean there's not a, and the only one I think today that has a chance is probably Hofstra. Hofstra versus Alabama with the uncertainty with a player being gone, and Hofstra's a pretty entertaining team. At least that's more or less what I mean, because I think 5-12s, there's always going to be at least one upset almost every single year based on history. To me, it just felt like this year there weren't a lot of, and even the 12s, it didn't feel like Akron maybe has another shot.
In Todd's bracket, I have Akron playing Hofstra.
I did too.
Because if you guys, I mean, people outside of the office probably don't care, but Todd's bracket, you get added points for upsets. So you add in those extra point differentials. So there's no reason to pick an 8 over a 9. You pick all 9s and all 10s, because if a 10 seed beats a 7, you get the point for the win, plus the 3 extra points for the differential. So I'm like, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen in Bama. I don't know what's going to happen with Texas Tech. Christian Anderson, I think he's going to be ready to play with the groin injury. I know Toppin ain't going to be playing. So Akron went and won the MAC, and we saw what Miami of Ohio did. So I'll take Akron in that one, and Hofstra without Holloway, or Alabama without Holloway. I'll take Hofstra in that one. We get the extra points. But in my actual bracket, I have Bama over Texas Tech.
Yeah, I root from action. I have Bama over I still have Akron winning in both of them because I
Nice.
think that they're. I think the MAC has been an underrated conference. But I think what's interesting is, one, we found out St. Mary's, they build their team every year to win one home game against Gonzaga to make it to the tournament, and somehow they fool the NCAA every single year. That's free money. Betting on A&M was free money.
I thought it was free money because buckyball's not easy to prepare for. And I actually have A&M beating Houston tomorrow.
Wow.
In my bracket. I've got A&M winning and going to the Sweet 16 and losing to Illinois.
Bold.
Because Houston's a good team, but Houston will be, they take care of Idaho, and now you get ready for buckyball that wants to speed you up, turn you over. Houston wants to slow it down. Who's going to be easier in their style of play? Aggie's going to have to stay on the floor for A&M because of the tough physical nature of Houston. We'll see what happens, but that was one of the reasons why I liked A&M is because you've got a unique style of play that I think is easier to enforce that style because you're pressing the whole game. You're pressing off a make, you're pressing off a miss, you're getting up and down and running, and it's tough to match that immediately. And so that's one of the reasons why I liked A&M to win that particular game. But we'll see if there are any high points today in getting that win over Wisconsin. Wisconsin with a 4-point lead with a minute to play. VCU comes all the way back from being down. What were they? Were they down 20 to North Carolina? No,
it was 19.
It was 19 because South Florida was down
19.
20, and they came back to pull within like 4. But they didn't. South Florida, while they made it close, never got within a possession.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing about South Florida. Louisville was like, oh, my God, South Florida came back and almost won. Did they, though?
The closest they got was like, felt like it.
The closest they got, I think, was 5 with 26 seconds to go.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
it was.
they were never within a possession when you didn't have to foul.
Yeah.
To try to get the ball back. So that wasn't nearly as close. It was a lot of too little, too late. BYU tried to make their comeback.
And Texas tried to help because they kept throwing to the big guy, and he had the yips at the free throw line.
Did you hear what Sean Miller said after the game? Said we're going to try to fix the glitch that happened in the second half with him. It's like, dude, it was like he's a 70% free throw shooter, and something happened, and there was a glitch in.
Was he 0-7 in the second half?
Yeah.
And by the way, a lot of those were the missed ends of front ends of 1-on-1. So it could have been, I was counting those as 2 basically.
Yeah.
I know you don't in the actual stats, but I think you should because.
Well, see, I think some stats should be changed too. I think the front end of a 1-on-1 should be counted as a turnover for that particular player. It's a missed free throw, but it's also if your team does not get the rebound.
Yeah.
I know these are distinctions.
You and I are having some fun. I like this.
But I also like if you drop a dime to a player and he goes up for a layup and gets fouled and hits both free throws, I think you get the assist.
An assist. I've been on that one for a long time.
He's got to hit both of them.
Yes, you can't go 1 for 2.
Just like the guy's got to hit the layup. I mean, people blow bunnies all the time. I mean, you miss shots all the time, guys. I mean, Cal Baptist is in the NCAA tournament because Utah Valley blew a dunk. With 3 seconds to go.
I forgot about that.
Now, they may have won in overtime. That was just to tie the game. It was 63-61. But it was a beautiful play. Lob. Guy jumps up to dunk it home and misses it with 2 seconds left. And Cal Baptist gets the rebound and goes the other way. But I think that would be fun, too. You give out an assist. Because Jeremy Fears yesterday, I think, was trying to break the assist record. He had 10 at halftime.
Yeah.
And he had about another 6 or 7 where the guys got fouled going up for layups because of what he created. He's really good, and I think Louisville's in for a world of hurt on Saturday. Unless McNeely for Louisville goes off and hits more threes like he did in the game yesterday. But Michigan State looked the part. Duke did not, but Michigan State certainly did, and Illinois did.
I think for me, the game was obviously the High Point Wisconsin game, which we knew
that was the high point.
Church or dispensary?
Both.
High Point.
Yep.
Which one is it? Well, it's both.
Either one.
I think to me, what was it? 99 Chase Johnston was just so fun. That's the closest we saw to a Jimmer threes.
Yeah.
Like Jimmer range threes. That
just the story of him never hitting a 2-pointer all season until he hits the game-winning 2-pointer. And believe me, Svi Mikhailuk was like, he didn't travel. That wasn't a travel at all.
I know. It was
absolutely a travel, but I don't care.
I don't know.
If I'm Wisconsin, I'm pissed because, hey, it's a travel. It's a travel. He caught the ball.
Gather 1-2.
He caught the ball, then took right, left, right. He never had to gather. He didn't dribble the basketball. He didn't gather the ball. He caught it, then took right, left, right.
I did the same thing,
I don't care.
too.
I was like, or left, right, left, whatever it was. Either way, I'm good with it because, 1, I had High Point. 2, I've got Terry Anderson from High Point on my player pool. 3, it's a fun story. 4, I'm not a fan of Wisconsin. And so, there was it's great with the 12-5 upsets as long as my team is not involved in those things. So I'm good with them not calling the travel. But the story about the fact that it's the only two-pointer he has hit all season long was that one to give them the win in the tournament.
Dude, the stones of the one with about 4 minutes left to go. 27 seconds on the shot clock. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna yeet this from nearly half court."
From the logo.
Yeah, from the logo. That was crazy. The bigger one to me was
the one on the wing.
84-80. He gets the ball, comes around the screen, almost fading away. He thought he missed it because if you watch, he thought he left it short. He landed and immediately started running towards the rim, and it went in, and he was like, "Oh!" And then he ran the other way. He thought he missed that shot and left it short when he let it go. Because if you look at it, the other shots that he was shooting had a lot more arc. That one was like a line drive. And he shot it and was like, he thought that thing was coming off the front of the rim because he took off and ran and it went in. And it was like, oh, sweet.
Dude.
That's when you know you're feeling it, is when you think you missed it and it still hits nothing but net.
They were just so fun. I mean, that game in general was just incredible. But the shots he hit, and I love the fact that when people say from the logo, that was actually from the logo.
Not like at Allen Fieldhouse. From the logo is like from the free throw line at times. Right? Michael?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just saying they shouldn't have such a subtle logo there. Although, in all seriousness, I do like when they rock the Kansas State outline at midcourt from time to time. I do think that's
the old throwback.
Yeah, I think that's a cool look from time to time when they throw the throwback logo up there. But it was a fun day. We'll see if it is a fun night for the local teams. I think Kansas will take care of business. I worry about Missouri with how they ended. And if you're going to the dance, we'll talk about what Missouri needs to do, what Kansas needs to do. We'll hear from Dennis Gates. We'll hear from the Kansas Jayhawks. But I put this on Twitter that if you're going to a dance and Missouri wants to stay there, Mark Mitchell is going to have to bring a +1 with him. He can't just show up solo and think that he's going to control the dance. He's got to bring a +1. I don't know who the +1 is going to be. There are 5 other guys out there besides Mark Mitchell that have had a 20-point game this year. At minimum, one of those guys needs to go to the dance with him tonight. One of them. We'll take a timeout. We'll talk about what Sean Miller did to BYU and how I think that relates to what Jay Lucas can do tonight against Missouri. And does Kansas have to worry about a Steph Curry tonight? Or is Darren Peterson going to play the role of potential number 1 pick in an NCAA tournament run that DeBanza could not play last night? We'll take a timeout. We'll talk about Mizzou and KU next.
It's pandemonium, baby! Because right now, FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. All you have to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use them on your bracket picks, money line spreads, totals, game props, or even same-game parlays. Go spicy. Pick that High Point. Pick that Akron. Pick that Hofstra, or go safe. Just parlay a whole bunch of 1s and 2s and 3s together and try and have a little fun there. The choice is up to you. FanDuel just makes it so much better. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. If your bracket's already busted, I hope it's not. That'd be very impressive if it was. But if it is, well, then just hop on FanDuel. You can still have fun and show your knowledge. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/local to learn more.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, less than an hour away of day number 2 of the NCAA tournament. The madness took place yesterday. It was an absolute blast. Just couch potato yesterday. Got home, and I did nothing. I did absolutely nothing, and it was everything I thought it could possibly be.
I understood that reference.
I'll tell you what, if there was a week for there to be a Jason Palooza, it is this week. Spring break, wife and the kids enjoying some time in Louisville, and I'm enjoying some time in front of the TV. It's nice, but I do miss the kids. Let's talk about this day today and the local teams, Mizzou and KU. I think KU will take care of business. We'll talk about them here in just a little bit. Let's start with the Missouri Tigers. I said before break that when you go to a dance, you can go solo if you want to, and Missouri has gone solo the last couple of games, and it's just been Mark Mitchell taking everybody to the dance with him. But people are staying in the car and waiting for him to come back. Let us know when you get done with the dance. We'll be hanging out here outside. They need a +1 tonight, and I think potentially a +2 for Mark Mitchell. He cannot be the guy that people are standing around watching and he's scoring 30 points. That's fine. It's great when he gets 30 points because it's like, man, you're getting buckets. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Well, are you going to have Mark Mitchell not have the ball in his hands? And he's scoring, so what are you doing? Because we talked about it last night. What Sean Miller did against BYU was, and the interview he did with the sideline reporter who's really struggling in that particular region, whatever, and he asked him about A.J. DeBanza and what he was getting. He's like, A.J. DeBanza, he's got 20 already or something like that, and he's like, what are you going to do to stop? He's like, you can't. Nothing you can do about him. And after the game was over, Sean Miller said, you know, I said it when I talked to you earlier, and I didn't mean that like we were just going to let him do whatever he needed to do. What I meant was we couldn't let him get our team into foul trouble, that we had to play him a certain way, but we couldn't let his surrounding cast do anything. We know he's going to score. We had to stop everybody else. We had to make sure the other guys didn't get us. If he scores 50, no, he didn't say this. I'm just saying. If he scores 50 and they score 60 as a team, we win. If he scores 35 and they score 60 as a team, we win. If he scores 25 and you've got 3 or 4 other guys that are playing well, then that's going to be tough to win because he's going to draw so much attention and then kick it out. But when guys weren't hitting shots, guys were afraid to take shots, you've got one of the most unaware players in college basketball in Mbopa, whatever his name is, number 7 for BYU, is the least aware basketball player that I've watched, and I've watched him a number of times this year. He doesn't play often for a reason, but one of the times when it was BYU was down by 4, and DeBonce's got the ball on the left wing, going left to right, so second half, and he's on the far side, and he's going, he's setting up the move, and the big man for Texas, who's guarding number 7 for BYU, comes over to double DeBanza, who's getting into the lane. And when that happens, DeBanza throws the bounce pass to number 7, but it goes out of bounds. And I'm watching and I'm going, DeBanza made the right play.
Yep.
Because DeBanza understands basketball, and number 7 does not. Because when they showed the replay, and I'm like, that's exactly what I thought happened. I was watching DeBanza, and he threw the ball, and I'm like, that's what I thought happened, and that's what happened. Number 7 was on the right block. DeBanza was on the left side. His defender, the big guy for Texas, went to double. And you know what 7 did? He flipping followed him. He floated towards his defender. Get on the block, make yourself available, lay it up. You just allowed the Texas defender to guard you and DeBanza, and now he had to drop a bounce pass to try to spin it to you because you followed your defender to DeBanza. Like, this is stuff you teach 9-year-olds about spacing.
I'd say 7.
Right? I couldn't believe, no, you don't go to the guy dribbling the ball unless you're setting a screen. Your guy is helping. You get big. Make yourself available on the block. It's a layup. They're down 2. Instead, it's a turnover. They go the other way. Sean Miller had the strategy of the other guys won't beat us. That's what's happened to Mizzou the last couple of games. They've got options that have stepped up and played well. One of those guys has to step up and play well. It cannot be Mark Mitchell and gang. It's got to be the Missouri Tigers, led by Mark Mitchell's ability. What are some of the best games we've seen Missouri have?
When he has 8 assists.
Exactly. That's exactly right. They have lost the last 2 games when it's been Mark Mitchell and everybody else. There's something in common with that, Sterling.
And I think what's frustrating is we see Missouri has the talent. We see Missouri has I think the pieces. I think Dennis Gates has actually done a fine job coaching. They're just not hitting shots. Like, I don't think there's much debate of, I think some of the play calls have been fine. I think a lot of the even roster who's on the floor has been, I think, fine. It's at some point you got to hit shots and you have to be aggressive. Tio Barrett's lack of aggressiveness, what we saw earlier when he became the starter, it was, I'm going to go down low and almost bully these smaller guards.
Well, now he starts to get overly aggressive.
And now he's having more and more turnovers.
Yeah.
And to me, it comes down to Cruz has been so inconsistent shooting since SEC play started, and we know defensively he's a liability, and so it puts Gates in a hard spot of, well, I can't really put him on the floor. I want to get him out there and have him get into a rhythm because we know when he's on, he can hit 3 threes in 3 possessions. He can be a spark plug. But if he's not hitting, well, defensively, he's a liability. To me, it comes down to 2 other guys because Tio Barrett is, I still think, a little young, slightly raw player. It's Jaden Stone and Trent Pierce, man. Jaden Stone has been so brutal offensively recently from where he was earlier on, where he looked like the legit second option. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he got tired. Maybe a couple days off and a weekish off will do him good. I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah.
And then Trent Pierce just has to still be, I think, that second, third option. Be aggressive. Hit your open threes. I don't care if Trent Pierce even takes some contested ones. He's 6'10", 6'11".
Yeah.
You're shooting over the 6'7" guys guarding you every single time.
I want to look at a box score tonight and see that Trent Pierce took at least 8 threes.
Sure.
Not even joking. I want him to, because if he misses the first couple, I think he's good enough to shoot himself out of it. They don't have guys that can put a hand in the face and stop a guy who can rise at 6'10" and has that pure of a shot. If he's 0 for 8, I'll live with it. But 2 for 4, not good enough. 1 for 4, not good enough. He needs to be taking more shots. He needs to be more aggressive shooting the ball. If that means catching, turning, and firing, he's done that before and he's knocked it down. Here's Dennis Gates weighing in on the 2 teams playing tonight and how they play.
Yeah, nothing's easy in this month as we embark on games in March Madness. So last year's last year. This team is a completely different team with a completely different identity. And what we do is look at what we've done this past year against our SEC opponents. So if you look at the last game at the SEC, there were so many ramifications. You can either finish 3rd or 4th or all the way to 10th. And then even in our conference tournament. So it was a feel of, a tournament atmosphere because so much was on the line. And that's what this is. I mean, every possession.
That last part to me stands out because we've talked about it, Sterling. They have fallen behind in their last 5 games. They have fallen behind by double digits. The only one they did not was Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Fell behind by 10 to Tennessee, won the game, dominated Mississippi State, fell behind by 20 to Oklahoma, lost the game, fell behind by 15 to Arkansas, lost the game, fell behind by 16 to Kentucky, took the lead in both of those last 2 games, and ended up losing. He mentioned the possessions. Those early deficits, Missouri does not value the possessions, does not value the ball early in the games when they get down. Against Mississippi State, they came out, they were running great offense, they were scoring, they were knocking down shots, that helps, but there was movement and energy offensively. The 3 games since then, there's been a lot of early turnovers, bad shots, and it's okay. It's a long game. It's a long game. It's a long game, right? It's only 5 minutes into the game. We got 35 more minutes to play.
It's like they don't even get shots up.
Yeah, okay, you got 35 more minutes to play, but now your 35 minutes is digging out of an 8-point deficit that you've already built in the first 5 minutes. Now you've got to play 35 minutes, 8 points better than a team that you were 50-50 with to begin the game.
What's funny to me is what normally they'll do is what I've noticed. This is all anecdotal here, but I just feel like this has been the trend. I've watched every game. I've probably watched every minute of Mizzou basketball this year. They don't value the ball early in the game. We know it, just the turnovers. They try to force feed Sean Phillips early, and it normally takes him calm. He's normally the first basket scored for Missouri basket. If you notice it, how many little baby hooks down low, and I can never tell if the whole thing is to calm him down if they're turning it over because they're trying to give him the ball to try and say, hey, we're going to go down low to start off early and then work our way out, which seems like a good plan. But they just turn the ball over so much. And watch this game against Miami. I bet for Missouri, Sean Phillips has the first basket, or at least the first set play is going to be a Sean Phillips little baby hook.
Whatever it is, as long as it's Sean Phillips engaged defensively and not in his own head.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Because it isn't a great scenario for Mizzou to say this game Mark Mitchell or Sean Phillips needs to play well, and he's a key cog for this team to win tonight because of how physical Miami is, and Sean Phillips cannot leave the game to then have Trent Burns out there playing center, who isn't nearly as physical, and when you've gone up against physical teams, he's gotten pushed around. Sean Phillips has to, one, match the physicality of Miami while playing within the confines of the rules. That is not easy for Sean Phillips. If he plays like that, I think Missouri wins. If he comes out and it's physical and he gets caught up in the physicality and picks up an early foul, I think Missouri's in trouble at that point.
Well, if Trent Burns comes in the game.
Well, if Trent Burns comes in the game and is playing physical,
sure,
and then that's a difference maker. I just don't expect that to happen.
And Trent Burns has been just wildly inconsistent. At times, we saw him become a nice rotational piece where you saw the size, the length, the even sometimes finishing down low ability. You saw the block shots that really confused on those pick and rolls or pick and pops. Yeah, he's not going to keep up with the guards, but the length can still affect those three-pointers that they try to get over the top of him. But at the same time, he keeps jacking up threes, and he's not learned. The coaching staff's clearly not said to slow down. You want to guess?
Letting him play.
Do you want to guess what his percentage is this year?
I think he's 1 of 14.
7%.
There you go.
He's shooting 7% from three.
Do you know what you're shooting from three? I don't know. Probably 40, 45 tops. 7 miles an hour.
It's like, what's it? Old school is like, what are your grades? Yeah, F minus.
F minus, yes.
Fat and stupid's not a good way to go through school, son.
That's right. But Sean Phillips, it's a big game for him. He's got to come out and play physical basketball and not have some of the dumb mistakes. And I'm hoping, Sterling, that the final scene we saw from Sean Phillips to this point in his basketball career was his emotions in a towel talking to Dennis Gates after he picked up his 5th foul that was a technical by pushing a Kentucky player after the whistle and then having to leave the game and Missouri losing. I'm hoping he's thought about that for a week and what it's going to take for him to be locked in emotionally and mentally, because physically it's there. He's a physical specimen. When he was on the floor against Kentucky, it was a difference maker. And when he's on the floor tonight against Miami, it'll be a difference maker. It's hard to go into a game for Mizzou and say, boy, I feel confident about this matchup as long as Sean Phillips plays well and plays smart basketball.
Because I'm relatively okay. He's going to get one in technical foul a game, one flagrant.
He gets just counting. Just go ahead and give him a point. Actually, before the game, can you shoot your free throw before the game starts?
But it's not always his fault. He gets one flagrant a game because he's a big guy. He's very physical. He uses his elbows, and in the way that the landscape is written. Again, I don't blame it being called one either. This is not me saying, oh no, he gets a bad whistle. it's not Jeremiah Tillman bad whistle where it's just where
reputation precedes him.
But Sean Phillips once a game will try and box out. He'll get an elbow high on a smaller guy, and his elbow grazes a guy's grill. The guy will fly back because he likes to flop and he's trying to win an Oscars. No one watches these movies anyways anymore, so they're trying to say, hey, maybe they watch this, they'll give me an Oscar. So I think for me, he gets one a game for being physical, and honestly, I'm okay with that because it's never him being. Those aren't him being dirty. That's him actually trying to box out and put an ass into a guy.
Yeah.
That's him trying to be
there should also be a little nuance too. Again, he has earned a lot of them. The most recent one he didn't earn because he was spinning to post.
Well, that's my point. And he got called for it. And
right.
So,
because what happened was he was spinning to post, and as he spun, he takes his right hand to box the guy behind him. But as he's spinning, the guy's leaning on Sean Phillips and loses his balance. This is the most recent one, loses his balance. So his shoulders drop about 4 or 5 inches. And now Sean Phillips, that was going to put an elbow to the guy's chest to box him out, is now an elbow to the face because the guy lost his balance and went down a little bit. Well, that's a flagrant one. Look, he elbowed him in the face. He was putting his elbows out, and sometimes he does them uncontrolled, but there is some reputation that comes along with that too. He has to be better about that, and also maybe some luck fall in his favor with some of those things.
You get one a game. I'm okay with that one.
That wasn't his fault.
That's not his fault. So, but he's going to get that once a game. The thing you can't do is push a guy.
Yeah.
Go up to a dude after it. These are the ones where I go. Those are the ones I can't live with. You can live with the physicality. You can't live with the dumbassery.
I don't mind the intensity, but I don't need after the whistle Sean Phillips and Ant Robinson constantly going up and trying to, get into it with the other team.
Doesn't Ant remind you of a cornerback a little bit? Ant Robinson. I feel like he'd be a really good cornerback. Just
great call, dude. He is absolutely.
A ball's overthrown and he's sitting there going, "That's all me, baby. That's all me."
100%. Who's the most likely +1 to Mark Mitchell tonight?
I
got my answer.
Trent Pierce.
That's who I'm going with.
Yeah, Trent Pierce.
I think it's Trent Pierce. He's the most likely one because I think T.O., if he can just play his game and say, I'm a point guard.
Yes.
Score when called upon. I'm not a combo guard. I'm not Brandon Knight in college. I'm not Cade Cunningham, where the offense goes through me, where I create the offense for myself, and then I can dish it off to other people around me. If Jay Lucas takes the Sean Miller BYU, we're going to stop AJ. We're going to let AJ DeBanza get his, but we're going to make sure the other guys around him, do not go and score big. If I'm Jay Lucas, I think I take that same approach. We're going to let Mark Mitchell do his because what it creates is when Mark Mitchell is one-on-one and we don't bring doubles from different places and we let him go to work, Missouri starts standing.
Yep.
And they lose their energy and they lose their offensive aggressiveness with the other 4 on the floor. I would take that approach and say, Mark's going to get his, but Pierce and T.O. and Stone and Ant and Cruz, they're not going to get theirs. And we're going to win if we do that. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk a little KU Cal Baptist next. I would continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll obviously get into more breakdown of the local teams. KU getting ready for Cal Baptist tonight, and it's a lot about, obviously, Dominic Daniels Jr. for Cal Baptist that people are talking about, but clearly it's going to be about Darren Peterson, Melvin Council, Flory, Trey White, Bryson Tiller, the KU players to me. Like, the 7-10 matchup for Mizzou and Miami, yes, these games are a lot about, okay, what you do, but Miami has a pretty decent say in what happens tonight in the game. With KU Cal Baptist, it's all about Kansas. If Kansas goes out there and plays the way that they'll play, the Cal Baptist is not going, Kansas is going to cover the spread if they go out there and do that. But if Peterson looks like he's got a couple inches short on his jumper, and he's not as explosive, and Melvin Council still looks run down, and Tiller is disengaged in the game and things like that, and Trey White's not knocking down shots like the slump he went through, I think that's where it's like, okay, now what happens with Cal Baptist and Dominic Daniels? But to me, the matchup tonight is all about what does KU do. They're the story in this one. How KU plays dictates the game. If KU plays their style, it won't be about Cal Baptist. It'll be about KU getting ready for what I believe to be St. John's and Rick Pitino in the second round.
So I think the Melvin Council one is a really good call, and that all determines on how much Kansas wins by. To me, is he rested enough to go back to his 40-minute-a-game, 38-minute-a-game ways? And then I guess question for Darcy, because I don't know this. I watched a lot of Kansas basketball, and I haven't noticed him in a positive nor a negative light defensively. We know that he's very active. We know he's extremely quick. We know he's fast and quick. I think both. But I haven't noticed him a ton defensively, just good or bad. And obviously, I would assume he's the guy on Daniels. So how do you view Melvin Council defensively?
I think he's a solid defender. Again, I think defense also comes down to just want. And when you're giving so much energy on the other end of the floor, it's sometimes hard to get back and play defense. And you even saw the clip earlier in the season where Bill Self was screaming at Darren Peterson to get back after he made a shot. Guard somebody. But
that was great.
I feel fine with Melvin Council playing defense on Daniels. The question is going to be, can Kansas do to Dominique Daniels what Texas did to A.J. DeBansa? That should be the approach because, like you said, Jason, if Kansas plays even, I don't want to say this to demean Cal Baptist, but if they play 3/4, half of their game, they should win this game. It might not be comfortable, but they have way more size, way more athleticism. They're the more talented team. Cal Baptist just has one guy that can go for 40.
They've got some size too. Like they've got some player. They got a 6'10", 245 player. They got a 7', 240 player. They got 6'11", 215. So their front court has some size, but the front court is the Pips to Gladys Knight's Dominic Daniels, and it's about him. And as somebody who has Dominic Daniels on his player pool, I hope Bill Self takes the approach of, well, Dominic Daniels can score 50 tonight as long as nobody else scores, we win the game. I hope Bill, in fact, take that approach. That's just smart. But Melvin Council defensively to me, because Daniels is 5'10", 185.
Yeah.
Melvin Council's 6'4" with like a 6'7" wingspan. You'll throw Darren Peterson at him, Melvin Council, Trey White. I think there are going to be a lot of different ideas for how they're going to defend Dominic Daniels. The difference is, if you haven't played against him before, you can watch on tape how quick and smooth and jittery he is and how fast he can have the step back and how quick he can blow by you and how demonstrative he is in his delays to then draw you forward and then go by you again. You can't watch that on film to replicate that. How do they adjust to that when they see it in real time, his speed? And is Dominic Daniels hitting crazy, stupid shots that, fadeaways and things like that?
Pulling up at the logo.
Well,
those things happen.
He probably will. The issue is it's not like Cal Baptist is a good three-point shooting team.
No, they're not.
And that's
They're
why
Houston.
And that's why I have a hard time seeing.
Yep.
That's why High Point I liked over Wisconsin. They can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
If you have shooters and you're a smaller mid-major team, you have a chance.
Yep.
If you were bigger than other people in your mid-major conference, but then now you're going up against Kansas and Flory and Darren and Trey, it's not going to traditionally end well. It's why it's not a good matchup for Cal Baptist.
But do Flory and Bryson play up to their height? They haven't done that the past couple weeks.
There'll be enough.
I think they will. I think they will tonight. I think this is one to where you remember last year. I think both Tiller not out there, but Flory was. I think they'll remember that. Matt Derrick, we remember him. He's next. Matt Derrick with us. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. This was a request. It's a long-distance request. Sterling Holmes writes, long time ago, when he used to hang out with his best friend, Matt Derrick, they played this song while they would ride around in their 65 Mustang.
Not missing a thing.
And now, this long-distance dedication. Sterling
Right in the storm out.
to Matt Derrick.
Because you know why?
Why?
We'll be riding the storm out tonight watching Missouri basketball. Whoa!
You think it's going to be a hurricane?
It's a hurricane,
I
and we're
see.
riding the storm out, boys.
I
Come
see.
on.
I see now. Yeah.
Frank Haith Classic.
Yeah, baby. The Frank Haith. Faith in Haith.
Loser has to take responsibility for Frank Haith.
Oh, God. Now there's even more on the line for Mizzou. My goodness, man.
If Missouri can ride the hurricane out.
You know what the Frank Haith Classic would be? Is if Missouri was playing Miami in Oklahoma City as the 10-7, and then you got Houston. Because to me, Kelvin Sampson is connected to Frank Haith. Because Kelvin Sampson returned to college with the show cause being over when Mike Alden said that he was going to give Frank Haith one more year. And then 2 weeks later, Frank Haith decided he was going to interview for Tulsa. But at that point, Kelvin Sampson had already been hired at Houston. Bruce Pearl had already been hired at Auburn. And then Frank Haith said, yeah, I'm going to go to Tulsa, which left them out in the lurch trying to find somebody. Whereas if they would have just simply fired Frank Haith, Kelvin Sampson can choose Missouri over Houston and coach that team. But
He's in the tournament, though,
is Frank Haith in the tournament?
because he's like an assistant at A&M, right?
Oh, wow. So it is. So there you go. A&M in Houston. How about that
There you
Bucky
go.
ball? Bucky ball.
I did not think he was still. I just thought he was. The storm got him.
I mean, it does seem like he should be, coaching like Indiana high school basketball or something.
Yeah, that feels more.
Norman Dale
Yeah.
after punching a kid.
That's
I was thinking about that other way because I was thinking about great basketball movies on the way in, listening to you guys talking about the tournament and everything.
which great one are you talking about?
That was Hoosiers.
Okay, which great one are you talking about?
That's the dude. He's the worst. Jason is like, I hate cool things.
I mean,
literally
I
coolest
love-
thing ever. Hoosiers, and he's like, oh, this is.
I love cool things. I just don't like overrated things.
It's not overrated. It's amazing.
It's appropriately rated. Yes, it's
Like
great,
this-
and people think it's great.
If it was
and it is great.
appropriately rated, then it wouldn't.
Dude,
anyway, go ahead.
learn
Sorry.
ball.
I didn't mean to
And-
interrupt you with
and-
the truth.
And Blue Chips. But I do
Great movie.
I
Thank you for
do.
finally mentioning a great college basketball movie, Blue Chips.
I mean, and very accurate. I mean,
Yes.
that was
Coach Carter.
totally accurate.
Coach Carter, anyone?
It's a good movie.
Love Coach Carter.
By the way,
Samuel was
Yes.
owned a thing. I mean, it was
I-
it was just hey, let's watch. Let's
Yes.
Samuel go at it for about an hour and 40 minutes. And
I do love the scene where Samuel in practice gets on the players for talking trash, and he was like, "I drew that up. I did that. That's my play." I was like, "That's pretty good," because the coach doesn't ever do that. The players do that. And by the way, in Blue Chips, did you ever think 30 years later we'd be going, Happy was right? Happy actually ended up being the good guy in that movie. Actually, Happy was the good guy. We owe it to him.
he was the protagonist.
Yes, he was the protagonist, and now in Blue Chips too, it's like the story, the biography of Happy and how he was ahead of the times.
It's like Elf. When you look at the dad and Elf, you're like, he's ruining the house. He, what's he doing? Like at some point, you're like, hey, buddy, calm down. I'm trying to get work done. The older you get, sometimes the bad guys really aren't quite as bad as you think.
Happy was Cody Campbell before Cody Campbell got to Texas Tech. That was Happy, and now Cody Campbell's like, look at how great he's doing, what he's doing for Texas Tech. That's what Happy was doing for Western and the great Petey Bell.
He was, and what got me thinking about this whole thing was listening to you guys.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember who it was that we were talking about, so I don't want to, I don't want to malign them. But what
Don't
got me
malign 'em.
going, you said, hey, you didn't know if this guy, what was going through with this guy, and if he was tired or whatever. And then I started thinking, maybe he's flunking TV. Yes. Maybe the girlfriend's pregnant.
Buy him some prophylactics,
Exactly.
It's not an easy class. You don't just watch the tube.
Exactly.
Yep, that's right. Melvin Council, maybe Melvin. Well, I don't think Melvin Council is Tony because we saw what happened with Tony. Tony got involved in that point shaving thing. Okay, that was Kennesaw State. who is in action tonight, right?
They played last night and lost.
Yeah,
To
Kennesaw
Gonzaga.
State. Oh, that's right. They played Gonzaga. I barely watched that game. Gonzaga got.
They got it kind of close towards
Yeah.
the end. They got a little testy.
I mean, I don't have any Gonzaga or Kennesaw State players on my team, player pool, so why would I watch that game? It was funny, this text we got this morning in the player pool group. It's so great. Said, just found out my 16th round pick isn't playing because of that point shaving scandal. So Kennesaw State. Yeah, that's probably need to pay attention to the leading scorer for Kennesaw State that got arrested in the season. So yeah, fun day yesterday, Matt, and we'll see if it is a fun night tonight. I'll tell you this though, I don't remember my dreams. It's weird. I wake up and it was just a darkness. Very rarely, like once every 2 or 3 weeks, I'll remember a dream.
Oh, now we're hitting dreams. We talked about his March Madness.
But this
Fantasy
is,
football
this
next.
is a connection.
We'll talk about that
here.
next.
There's a connection here. I woke up this morning, and I guess I had dreamed that Missouri had lost, and I woke up this morning thinking it was Saturday morning, just freaking
I
stupid.
hate your dreams. I was irate.
But I legit woke up this morning with the annoyance of they just can't freaking find a way. I'm like, oh wait, it's Friday. They haven't played yet.
I hope your dream is wrong.
I hope it's wrong too.
You are a son of a gun for
Right.
even subconsciously thinking
agree.
that.
But
Not a
sometimes-
true son.
But sometimes the worst thing is waking up the next morning. I still remember the feeling when I woke up Monday morning after the AFC Championship game with the Chiefs and Bengals, the first one when they lost. That it's like you sort of convince yourself as the night, oh, it's going to be fine, it's just one game, whatever. Then you go to bed and you wake up, you're like, that was real. That really freaking happened. They really lost to the Bengals. So that was the feeling this morning. And then I'm like, oh wait, it's Friday. They can actually still go out and actually play the game.
Yeah, it was.
That's why you're so chipper today.
See?
That I know you live for the tournament.
Norfolk State. Seriously,
Love it.
I woke up the next day and had to pinch myself so much that Bare Naked Ladies wrote a song about it.
Oh, you went to sleep? Because I stayed in.
Pinch Me by Bare Naked Ladies. That's pretty good.
I stayed in the recliner, the Lazy Boy, for the next, I think, 36 hours. Not sleeping, and just staring at the TV. Like, I can't believe that just happened. Almost fired one of our employees that day at the ESPN station in Louisville. Almost fired him, but he lucked out because he had put in a lot of work that week and building up to our big watch parties and stage and everything, that we had this presence. We were watching it all down in the Louisville version of Power and Light. So he had done a bunch of stuff, and we used his truck for transporting everything. But when that shot was missed by Flip Pressey, I looked down at my text message, and it's from him. I've known this guy 10 minutes. Program director, hired him like a week ago. Known him 10 minutes. I get a text from him.
Oh yeah, you don't know anybody that long enough. That's not long enough to know somebody before you do that.
And I replied and I said, did you really just text me that? And he goes, crap, my bad. I'm really sorry. I'm like, and
Wrong person.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, he is very lucky. Like, you probably shouldn't fire somebody for that.
No,
if
that's
you-
a fireable
But
offense.
here's the thing. If you're not smart enough to not text your boss that, then maybe are you going to mess some other things up? Turned out to be an amazing worker for us. He was awesome for 3 years, and I'm glad I didn't, and became one of my good friends. He's a West Virginia fan, so I had a lot of laughing at him over the years, too. So there you go. Matt, how do you feel about tonight?
Well, apparently I feel pretty good because I had to go back and look at my bracket, and I did finish with 11-5 yesterday. So
Not
not
bad.
falling behind, not showing off.
Not bad.
Not bad, but it's not bad.
But you know what? You got Missouri winning tonight?
I apparently when I filled out my bracket, I must have been drunk.
I love it. That's the best way to do it.
I did take him to the Elite Eight.
I did too.
For falling to Arizona because
I did too.
They're not beating. Well, I've got to like beating Gonzaga, which after watching Gonzaga play for 30 minutes yesterday, that is distinctly possible.
What's funny is I was probably the only one who was actually drunk filling out their bracket, and I had
was
them
losing tonight.
I had them. No, they won one game. They beat Miami, and they lose to Purdue.
I have them going to the Elite Eight because, one, if they do make a run, that's as far as they'll get.
Yes.
And if they get past Purdue on Sunday, that's a pretty big if. Because, they haven't won tonight.
What in the Mizzou delusion are we doing here? It's a pretty big if. Once they get past Purdue, once they beat Miami and Purdue,
It's a pretty big if. But BYU, Gonzaga, Texas, I was okay with those matchups. I'm like, okay, fine.
sure.
If they get there, fine. I might as well put them in the Elite Eight. What the hell? But yeah, I mean, the Missouri, though, in me is like, I'm going to lose an Elite Eight team tonight. But you know what? You lose Elite Eight. Sometimes people lose Elite Eight teams in the first day anyway. It happens all the time that people lose Elite Eight or Sweet 16. I lost a Sweet 16 team yesterday, did I? No, I did not. I did not lose a Sweet 16 team yesterday. Oh, I did. Yeah, I had BYU in the Sweet 16. So I lost a Sweet 16 team already. Oh, well, it happens. I went 14-2, but I had a Sweet 16 team lose. Yeah, I got them in the Elite Eight. Who cares? But, you know, if they make the Elite Eight, hey, I called it. If they didn't, who cares? It's a bracket. I'm going to get plenty of them wrong anyway.
There you go.
So, you know.
Yeah, I pledge, and this year I was going to stick to my pledge. I mean, I'm like Lucy and Charlie Brown in the football.
Every time.
I was convinced. I'm like, I either my rule is to take Mizzou one round less than I think they could possibly make it.
You had them out of the tournament.
and so I was tempted. I was tempted to go ahead with the first round loss just because I'm like, okay, I think they can. I think the furthest they can make is round of 2.
Yeah, me too.
And everything.
In all reality.
And then I did the same thing that you did. I just one thing led to another, and all of a sudden they're in the Elite Eight against Arizona.
Were you to fix? One thing leads to another. Okay. No.
And you
That
know
was
what?
really good. That was really good.
Thank you.
And you know what? I honestly, like, I'm sitting there going, well, they're not going to beat Purdue on Sunday, but who cares? This is my bracket. I don't care. I'm not going to put money on it.
I didn't put any money on it, which is the only
Not
reason
going
why
to.
I did take Mizzou to the Elite Eight.
I have them only winning one game, and I did put money on it. See, I mean, I'm just
There you go.
and
See,
I was
I
drunk when I
wonder.
put that down.
How
No,
about
just to me, I don't think they get past Purdue. I get the thought process. Missouri's a very interesting team where they've
50
beat.
shot to get past Miami.
Well, because they lost to Ole Miss and LSU, but they've also beat Florida and
Yeah.
at Kentucky. They really are the definition of they can beat anyone and lose to anyone. It's like that team in football where you're like, yeah, they're not good, but you don't want to play them.
Yeah.
Like you just don't want to play them because we've seen them get hot. We've seen them beat really good teams. We've seen them compete and beat Tennessee and Vanderbilt, but they also play down at times for competition, and we know it's going to be a one-score game.
That's what they play.
We know it's going to be a one-score game.
They play
We
one-score
know I'm going to
games.
be angry, yelling. Even though Missouri's playing in St. Louis, they're going to get a whistle as if they're playing in Alaska. We know they're going to
A home game.
They're going to piss me off.
It's a home
But
game.
also we know that we are true sons. And we know we will ride the storm out.
Okay.
We know
All right.
that hurricane can't compete
Okay, settle
with
down.
a tiger.
Yes,
and we
sir.
know
Okay, settle down.
that Missouri is going to be moving on. Ride that storm out.
Yeah, we just rode it right off the rails.
Hey,
Unbelievable,
beautiful
man.
Dennis, welcome to the gates of hell. Do you need me to give the pregame
Sterling
press?
just took us to church. So
the pregame presser? High Point, church or dispensary?
I assumed I thought until yesterday I thought High Point was a brand of generic kitchen appliances. I also thought Sienna was a crayon.
It's a color, yeah.
And what's the other one? Oh, Cal Baptist that KU's playing. I would have sworn that Cal Baptist has like a used Ford dealership in Columbia. So come on down to Cal Baptist and we'll get you up brand new Ford.
Matt, you'll be rooting for Virginia today, I think. And the reason you'll be rooting for Virginia, the Cavaliers, old Wahoo, they are taking on Wright State today in the Midwest region. That game is at...
At least this isn't a 1 versus 16 match.
That game starts in an hour and a half. Wright State versus Virginia. Virginia 17.5-point favorites. We released our regions in our bracket of sound. We released this one on Monday, actually, the Midwest region, and that is the actually the Tickle Your Tonsils region in our bracket of sound. But the 3 seed in the Tickle Your Tonsils region is Virginia, and with Matt Derrick in with us today, we figured why not play Matt Derrick's Virginia Cavalier connected bracket of sound entry. Here we go.
And so tell people about what you guys do together in separate rooms but on camera.
In separate rooms.
try to-
Yes.
Well,
That sounds very interesting. Everything you just said
Explain
there.
this to me so people will know exactly what we're talking about.
I think it's very, very important to emphasize that this is on YouTube, not OnlyFans. They are just shoving it all in this year. That inch is the critical one.
I was saying something, and then the meat came by and
Yes.
just completely distracted me.
That's not convinced that they're going to be able to stick this thing out and pull it all the way through. Like it comes in the front and then goes out the back.
If you go longer, it's for the best.
Okay, great.
Is that what your doctor said?
When I open up the shades and everything, I can look out there on cold mornings like that, and he's always out there on my deck, blowing on his nuts. And he's got a thick trunk, which is probably going to get marked now.
Mine is small and dilapidated.
Teams are still going to get penetration on you, and they're going to blow up your blocking schemes, and they know what you're going to do. You could put Jesus back there, and teams are going to stop him.
He can't pass block. Jesus notoriously struggles against
That's
the
the
blitz.
problem.
Great front runners, boys. Love it.
And Bryson, so I'm doing pretty well.
Oh, Bryson can suck it.
If you're one of those mother bleepers, I'll say you're a mother bleeper.
That's a hammer on Trent McDuffie.
Hey, Trent. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, my guy.
Cowboys are the one team that would probably overpay for a couple of reasons, and Jerry's one, and the fact that they need secondary help is another. Cowboys do some crazy sometimes. Oh,
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Matt Derrick, welcome to the club.
Dang.
I think the hammer on Trent McDuffie is my favorite. I just remember that, and you were convinced you did not say that. I remember we went to break, and you were convinced.
I didn't say
You're
that,
like, I did
hammer.
not say that, because I remember going, good for Trent, and you were convinced, and we went and had a cut, and you're like, I can't believe I said that.
The Virginia Cavaliers and Matt Derrick connected. So yeah, it's a strong entry, Matt. Strong entry.
You do an incredible job keeping track of things, because there's a few things that I forgot I said in there. And
Oh, we didn't.
What was your favorite?
I do remember distinctly the meat coming by, though. So
That was at the golf show,
It
right?
was at the golf show, and the meat came by.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah, that was
Darn right.
that was recent.
That was really, it was a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. Yeah, that. I mean, look, it's a full year's worth. You know,
Yeah.
you get a full year's worth of collecting these things. All right, let's take a time out.
I was going to say, I cursed this year, put a hammer
Yes.
on Trent McDuffie. I mean,
It's great. You had something being stuck all the way out and pulled all the way through.
Some of
People
those I don't
blowing on
even
his
remember
nuts.
the context. I remember the
Yeah.
squirrel blowing on his nuts, but I
Yes.
don't remember the.
We all remember
the
that.
context
Oh,
of some of the others.
Squirrel. Okay.
Duh. What else would it be? We'll take a time out. We'll come back and we collect Matt Derrick sounds. The Chiefs or the Jets are collecting Chiefs draft picks. 6 rounders specifically over the years. We'll talk about Justin Fields. I'll get Matt Derrick's thoughts on the Kelsey contract, what that may or may not mean. And the latest with the NFL officials and potentially having the backup officials, scab refs, whatever you want to call it, and what is being reported as could be utilized with the scab refs if there is a lockout for the NFL Referees Association. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next.
FanDuel is offering an early win on your pre-live moneyline bets for college basketball when your team goes up 10 points, and it stays a win no matter how the game ends. This is electric. This is outstanding. And by the way, everyone, if you would have put moneyline on Siena yesterday, well, they went up 10. So what did that mean? Well, that means FanDuel paid that out. Even though Siena lost, they still paid that out as a win because they went up 10 against Duke. Ooh, that's a lot of money. That was some good odds. FanDuel is helping you have some extra fun this March. So win or lose, if your team takes a lead of 10 or more points, then it's a win. And don't forget with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started.
21 plus and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Tokens are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including token expiration, market requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Chiefs have made a move in free agency. Okay? The long wait, it's over. They have made a move in free agency, and the Chiefs have brought back Jack Cochran, baby.
Huge.
Yep. Cochran back in the building. Matt Derrick's with us. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Kentucky is up early by 1 on Santa Clara.
Matt, are you a big Cochran guy?
He's a good special. If you lose, here's the thing: if you lose Leo Chanel, I'm going to move on from that, Matt.
Probably for the best.
And actually ask the question: if you lose Leo Chanel, I kind of feel like Cochran is somebody that you'd like to have back in the building.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it a little bit flippantly. I don't mean it as flippantly as it's going to come out, but the Chiefs, I mean, they do have the number 4 linebacker position nailed because they've addressed it, I think, 3 times now. So
that is flippantly.
They have Cochran, they've got McDonald, they've got Jeff Bossa. I don't know if any of those guys are Leo.
Yeah, they haven't. So they've got the number 4 linebacker position. They just don't have the number 3 linebacker position figured out yet.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Who plays the most snaps out of those 3 next year?
God,
not counting special teams, but actual defensive snaps.
God, I hope Bossa.
I mean, it needs to be Bossa.
Yeah.
Just because they need that pick to be a good pick.
They need to get more athletic.
But, you know, that's the crazy thing is that you go from replacing Leo Chanel with Jeff Bossa, you go from your biggest linebacker to your smallest linebacker. I mean, and he's more of a weak side. I mean, he's more of a either Drew Tranquill or Nick Bolton at best.
So I think he's more of a Drew.
I think he's more.
He is a Drew. I mean, he's a weak side guy. Yeah, he's not a strong side linebacker.
I think it's actually Cooper McDonald is the best bet to take the Leo snaps. If you ask me which of those 3 guys, Cochran, McDonald, or Bossa, who plays the most snaps next year, I think it's McDonald. And I know your point of, will you want the Bossa pick to work because of the draft pick? I agree, but it's a sunk cost. Once you draft the guy, I don't give a hoot nor a holler where you were drafted. You can't force it. If Cooper, even though he was a UDFA guy, is more suited to that role versus Jeffrey Bossa, well, go to the guy who's more suited towards that role. I don't care about the draft pick. At some point, it's a sunk cost. That's been my philosophy for a long time. It was when Pacheco took the job from Clyde. I don't care if he's a 7th rounder and he was a 1st. Whoever's better, you give the gig to. I think Cooper McDonald might be the guy this year that takes the majority of the. They showed us that last year. Who played more last year? When Leo went down,
it was Cooper.
It was Cooper.
Yeah. No, I mean it should I think probably be Cooper, but that's the crazy thing is that I mean if you're the Chiefs, you definitely need and want Bossa to be the better linebacker, but he may not be best equipped for that role.
Agreed.
And you know what? If you get a 5th rounder who is a sub linebacker that's probably not a starter, but really awesome special teamer, 4-phase guy, I'm okay with that.
Hey, if he turns into Dorian O'Daniel 2.0, I mean, he's not going to be more than that.
It's not a 3rd rounder, or was Dorian O'Daniel 4th rounder?
I think it was 3rd, I thought.
3rd or 4th, one of those 2. I think he actually might have been 4th rounder.
I think it was either, you're right, it was either 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, but I said 3rd originally, but now
and then all
I'm
of a sudden
thinking
I get
4th.
5th in my head, so.
Dorian O'Daniel was a 3rd rounder.
Like I said, he was definitely a 3rd rounder.
He was pick 100.
Yeah. So you get Dorian O'Daniel in the 5th round, a little bit different than getting Dorian O'Daniel on day 2.
Correct.
So I'm okay with that. I would like to see them get a little more athletic at their first 2 linebacker spots, and so if that means Bossa has to play a little bit more for Drew Tranquill, and I think we learned about what the Chiefs thought about Drew Tranquill and his contract in that, hey, Drew, we're going to cut you unless you restructure your deal. Is that probably what happened behind the scenes?
Sure looks like it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting your contract restructured and taking a bit of a pay cut and everything, then yes, that absolutely gives that impression.
And with that, I would assume his agents would then be in touch with other teams saying, hey,
what's his market
look like? So does that say that's what the NFL thinks about him, or does that say he also wants to stay in Kansas City? Because when he won the first Super Bowl with the Chiefs, he was elated. I mean, you saw the emotion and the excitement, and he's been given a lot of high praise to Kansas City. He was talking about a Loie Gilman and like, hey, come on in here. Hey, it's different. It feels different in this building, chasing Super Bowls. He's one of the few guys who I would say, given a larger contract somewhere else or a pay cut to stay in KC, I think he's one of the few guys that would actually take the pay cut to stay in KC.
Yeah, I think he would. I mean, he does love it here. I have no doubt about that. I mean, from talking to him, and everything. And I mean, for him, I think it's been a great setting. I mean, you look at his years with the Chargers and a lot of disappointments out there and everything. So he enjoys winning. I mean, I know last year did not go the way that anybody wanted, but he likes the organization. He likes the structure. I mean, the fact that like you said, he was recruiting other players to come here. He likes. I mean, hey, he went to Notre Dame. He's a Midwest kind of guy because of that too. So there's a lot of things, and that's. I think you're probably right as well that his agent probably did check around, and there might have been teams interested in Drew Tranquill, but the problem might have been it could have been about the same money that the Chiefs would be paying him under the restructured deal, and they might not be as good.
Is he going to get, if Drew Tranquill is a free agent right now, is he going to get $4 million a year for 2 or 3 years?
I'd say yes.
I don't know. He took a step backwards last year. He's aging. He's going to be 31. He's losing the athleticism that he had a couple of years ago. And I'm not here to say, what somebody else has made or not made, and you've made enough money in your career. But if he is one of those that's, hey, I like playing here, and maybe I'll get 5 on the open market, but I'll play for a reduced salary at 4 because I've already made $22 million in my career. I mean, it's life-changing, generational changing money to have $22 million already. Doesn't have fully 22, taxes and all that stuff, but when we're looking at, how it's broken down, he made $13 million the last 2 years. He had made $6 million in his entire career in the previous 4 years, 4 years, and then he made 13 the last 2 years. That's pretty decent, and then staying around and saying, all right, I'll take a couple million less to stay here than what I was going to get, because am I going to get that same contract on the open market that I'm taking less and I still get to stay here? I think that's it's smart by Tranquill to do that. I also think it's smart by the Chiefs to go to him and say, hey, will you do this? And I wonder, Matt, the Chiefs announced this after Chanel signed with the Commanders. I wonder if there was kind of if there might have been a connection there. The Chiefs, hey, we'd like to sign you, Leo. Here's the contract we'd like to give you. Washington is going to sign you. They want to give you a contract and make you part of a 3-4 and have their whatever Dan Quinn calls that particular player that they move around in that particular defense, the elephant or the star, the cowboy, the joker, whatever it is that they play that Leo Chanel,
the commander.
I'm convinced is going to play that role for them. Whoever that is. I can see him going, man, I've won some Super Bowls here with the Chiefs. It's been great. But if I re-sign, I think I'm a 50% player, and they're going to use me in that defense as their sort of specialist in different places. I'm going to play 80, 90%. So I'm going, okay, Tranquill, we're not going to cut you, but we still need to lower this contract, lower this cap hit. Whereas if you sign Chanel, sorry, Drew, we're going to go ahead and release you and save the $6 million in the cap.
Yeah, and Leo was one of those few players, and we'll take McDuffie out of the conversation because he wasn't a free agent; it was a trade. But there were really, with the Chiefs and most of their free agents, as you can kind of tell, their philosophy was, "Hey, you guys, we'd love to have you back at the right price. We just can't afford it. We don't have a lot of money. So hey, if go out, don't sign anything until you let us know what you got. But if you get an offer, let us know. We'll see if we can match it."
Yeah,
Leo and Jalen Watson, in retrospect, were the two players that the Chiefs knew there was no chance. Leo knew he was gone, and the moment he went on IR with the shoulder and everything, that his locker was cleared out.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That was a decent.
Leo knew he wasn't coming back.
It's a nice anecdote to add to the picture of what was going on at the end of the season that you offered in the reporting of this is a little different than some of the other guys that go on IR.
And not bitter in any sort. It was just that, hey, Leo wants to be a 3-down linebacker. He wants to make $8 million a year. There was no way that those two things were going to happen in KC. The way that Spags deploys him and plays the defense doesn't mean he wasn't important.
Yeah,
because he did a lot of things to that team, and Spags even said it late in the season when Leo went down that you don't replace Leo Chanel with one player, and it's true because he's a guy that can blitz for you. He can line up on the line of scrimmage. They trusted him to cover a little bit, and you couldn't say that about any of their backups.
Yep.
The one that filled in the most was Cooper McDonald, and that's the one you could say it was the closest Leo-like, but he's not as good yet at lining up in the line of scrimmage and blitzing and doing all those things. developmental piece, undrafted linebacker, free agent. and
Not a
everything.
third rounder
So,
like Leo.
so there's more. There's more work to do. And Leo was an athletic freak.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's talking. I keep saying this. Everybody's talking about Sonny Styles and everything like that. Leo's numbers. I mean, they were both.
They're like the same. They're both. Their RAS scores were.
The only difference is that Styles is 2 inches taller. I mean, otherwise they're almost exactly the same weight. I mean,
2 inches can make a difference though, with a linebacker and defense and sight and being able to see the entire field and things like that. If they were to draft Sonny Styles, we're going right past that. If they were to draft Sonny Styles,
glossing.
That's right. They could, at the end of the 26 season, save a decent amount of money on Nick Bolton's deal. And if they draft Sonny Styles, I would guess that's probably signaling maybe the beginning of the end for Nick Bolton with the Chiefs, because it would be, let me pull up the contract. I looked at it the other day. They'd save $15 million against the cap. He's got a $19.25 million cap hit in 26 or in 27, and they take a $4.25 dead cap hit. If you draft Sonny Styles, I think you're drafting him to be a guy you can move around, and then 27 be the green dot moving forward for Nick Bolton.
And I could see that being an option if, like, Reuben Bain's not available.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
If there's a couple,
I don't think they're looking and saying Sonny Styles is the guy at number 9. If we had the first pick, Sonny Styles is our guy.
It's like tackle too. This is all if Bain and Bailey are gone. I think might be the caveat.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, maybe was it Devontae Mack? No matter what, was that the guy?
That's right.
So
it was.
see, maybe that's what Brett Veach is going to say: is Sonny Styles no matter what.
Yeah, I went into my fantasy baseball auction league and said Carter Jensen no matter what. I didn't get Carter Jensen, so those things happen because he went for a lot more money than I thought he would. But it's Kansas City, so that's to be expected, right? But I think that could be a transition plan. I don't know if they have a transition plan yet in mind. Again, Nick Bolton's only 26 years old.
Right.
He's battled some injuries, but he's not 30. Even if he plays through his contract, he'll be 27 years old in the 2027 season, making that money. But if you're looking at salary cap, maneuverability, and Sonny Styles is number 1 on your board, and there's a decent gap between him and everybody else, and nobody wants to trade up to number 9, it's not the worst thing in the world to get one of the best players in America, one of the most sure sort of he's going to be a good NFL player for a long time players in the draft, and say, now we add him in, and we've got a succession plan and can save $15 million on next year's cap as you start to move ahead. And then figuring out and revamping the entire linebacking room, because Drew Tranquil's contract is up at the end of this year too.
And
and maybe it's Sonny Styles and Jeffrey Bassa in 27 as your linebackers.
And the only real downside to that and the risks to it and everything is that once you get the player, sometimes it doesn't pan out the way you want.
Yep.
Because, for instance, when the Chiefs drafted Leo, I mean, it was, hey, this guy's a potential Nick Bolton backup and maybe a replacement for Nick Bolton down the road. And then they realized very quickly, no, that's not his skill set. I mean, his skill set is really, he's more of an outside guy, strong side linebacker, so we're not going to put him at the mic. I mean, they abandoned that very quickly into his rookie year. Jeff Bassa, same thing was said. Hey, this guy's a potential, Mike. He's that smart and everything like that. Well, he's still too undersized to probably play that role.
Yep.
So I don't know how they feel really. I haven't really seen the evidence that they're trying to bulk him up and turn him into that guy. So probably not. I mean, Drew Tranquil's the only guy that they've brought in that they have felt comfortable putting at that spot. I mean, Cochran is like their third string guy, and so that's, I think, another reason why they wanted him back is the indication that that's the if they lost 2 of their guys, that's the one guy that they trust the most to run that position. And so it's saying to me that Boss is not ready for that McDonald's not going to be one of those players. So that's why you're bringing back a Cochran. And he's a good special teams player too, so there's that factor. But they really haven't found outside of Drew, they have not found another guy that they're comfortable to put at that Mike linebacker spot.
Yeah, that may be this draft. Who knows? It may be next year's free agency. I'm not really sure what that is going to end up looking like. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back on the other side. I want to talk about a couple of things. Justin Fields, the newest member of the Chiefs, that wasn't on the Chiefs last year since Cochran signed, but the newest member of the Chiefs that wasn't already a Chief. Kelsey's contract is really creative. It's a creative contract that the Chiefs came up with. It reminds me of the Patrick Mahomes, quote, guaranteed mechanisms that we all had to go, What's a guaranteed mechanism in the contract? Now we're very familiar with that, but we'll talk about those things and continue rolling on this Friday edition of The Zone. It is Kentucky up by 5 with 6.5 minutes to go in St. Louis. Kentucky up by 5 over Santa Clara in that 10-7 matchup. More Zone next. Men, if you're out there and you happen to be suffering from erectile dysfunction, there is no need to wait around and hope that it will get better on its own. Heartland Men's Health can help. Their entire career and time and energy, investment, and all of the research is about men's health. Maybe it happened once or twice, you laughed it off, no big deal. It is not something just simply laugh off, because it can be caused by many different underlying conditions, and then in turn can cause depression and arguments and breakups, contribute to divorce. Other parts of your life can be impacted if it's something that you're thinking about and stressed about. Heartland Men's Health can help. Maybe you've tried the pills or the herbals and they have failed. Well, if that happens, Heartland Men's Health has treatments that work when the pills or the herbals fail. In fact, they have treatments with success rates well over 90%. Heartland Men's Health successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. Schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit, it's only $99 and includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, a T and PSA test, and have medically advised a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit, it is free. They have an expert staff with 3 locations to serve you: Overland Park, Independence, between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, hanging out with Matt Derrick. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. NCAA tournament rolling along right now as Kentucky is on top of Santa Clara by 3 with 4 minutes to go in the first half there, and Texas Tech up by 5 on Akron. That is the first 6 minutes of that particular game.
Zip up.
Yes, with Texas Tech and Akron. Why do you hate Patrick Mahomes? I'm not sure.
I don't,
That
but
one's in Tampa. That one's in Tampa.
I wanted to be spicy.
There you go.
And go with the 12.
Matt Derrick, Patrick has a new backup quarterback, and this one's a little bit different than the traditional backups that we have seen in Kansas City. What do you make of the Chiefs going the route of Chad Henne, Matt Moore, Gardner Minshew, Blaine Gabbert, Carson Wentz, your sort of quarterback guys that can throw the ball and known for throwing the ball? Justin Fields, not necessarily a guy that's known for, well, he can work in the pocket, deliver the football where it needs to go, accurately, on time, not going to be some crazy playmaker, but it'll be good. No, Justin Fields is the exact opposite. What do you make of them identifying Justin Fields and saying this is the guy we want, so we'll trade for him?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like what the Chiefs had been doing, I mean, really since Andy Reid got there. I mean, between Chase Daniel and Nick Foles and go on down the list and everything. It was veterans, and then it tended to be, Chase was a little bit different, but and honestly, Chase, I think, well, I want to say in my heart better than Justin Fields, but then he was an undrafted quarterback, so maybe I shouldn't really be trying to make that argument. Well, he was a Heisman finalist, so there you go.
Take that.
But they had been going for quarterbacks that, especially in the Patrick Mahomes era, were guys that would be good sounding boards for him, that were veterans that he could still learn from, that he could pick up some traits from, and would be just good at helping him pick apart film and speed. I mean, the sounding board in the quarterback room was a phrase you heard a lot with Chad Hennes and the Matt Moores. And they were quarterbacks that the Chiefs felt like, hey, if we have to play without Mahomes for a few games, that these guys can be the understudies that keeps the show going, and hey, at least keep you a 500 team. And they generally did that. Hey, Henny won him a playoff game, once. So that strategy
nice.
Paid off.
It worked out.
Paid off.
Yeah.
Didn't necessarily pay off last year, and last year was the first time they started going outside maybe that trend a little bit, because Gardner was younger, more of a Mahomes type, because they didn't feel like they were necessarily going to have to change the offense as much if he went in. I think they learned opposite of that even though, Gardner's a bit of a gunslinger, he's not Mahomes, and I don't think what happened last year at the end of the year was necessarily Gardner's fault as much as it was that the offense had fallen apart.
Yeah. Mahomes couldn't get that offense rolling.
Exactly. If Mahomes couldn't get it going, Gardner and Chris Oladokun didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
So, hey, is Justin Fields Patrick Mahomes? No. But I think it's that he gives them a different approach, that if they do have to open the season without Mahomes, they do have to play a significant number of games without him, they can give defenses a different look and do something that, honestly, I mean, Justin Fields, I watch him, I look at some of the numbers and his trend through his career, and you know what? I see a lot of Alex Smith early in his career and everything. And, hey, if Andy Reid, and we may not talk about this as much because Alex Smith was not a bad quarterback in San Francisco once he got some stability.
Yeah.
Once Harbaugh was there and they weren't changing head coaches and offensive coordinators every single season.
Kind of like Baker Mayfield once he got to Tampa.
Yeah.
Or Sam Darnold once he got to stability.
He settled in, but I still think, Andy Reid made him better. So, that's the last really example before Gardner probably of, Andy Reid getting a young quarterback and to see if he can make him better and turn him into a respectable starter. We'll see if they can do that with Fields. The strange thing is that the last 2 years with Justin Fields haven't been bad. His completion percentage has been kind of well above 60%. Hasn't thrown a lot of interceptions. He went 4-1 in that stretch with the Steelers as a starter.
He had one interception, both. So two total.
Yeah, like 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Yeah, it's been a great ratio. So there's something to work with there. We'll see. And hey, if Mahomes ends up starting all 16, 17 games, and this becomes irrelevant, great. But I think it gives them something that they could go back and they could run some of the pistol concepts that they ran with Alex Smith. They could take advantage of the athleticism, if there's anybody who can coach run first out of anybody, it's Andy Reid, because the first time that Justin Fields tries to scramble in an OTA practice or a training camp practice, he's going to get an earful. You don't waste reps with Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And if that's what it takes to get him out of just, dropping back and then scrambling for no reason, which has been really the chief complaint about Justin Fields in his career, that would be a step forward.
Yeah, in the 9 games that he played last year for the Jets and started all of them, he had, with passing and rushing, a total of 11 touchdowns and 1 interception. So he had 4 rushing touchdowns, 7 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, completed 63% of his passes, averaged over 5 yards per carry. I do wonder if this is a move that they make if Kenneth Walker is not a Chief. If we take the exact same thing that happened this year with the quarterback, but there's 1 more year left of Pacheco. Pacheco's coming off, like last year's offseason, Pacheco's coming off the injury. He's going to be fine. We're gonna go with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt in our backfield because Pacheco's going to get that dynamism back that we thought he had, or explosiveness. Do they make this move if it's Pacheco and Kareem Hunt as opposed to Kenneth Walker and maybe a renewed emphasis on maximizing what you can get in the run game?
I think they still might, because I think it's gonna come down to this. This is less of an example, like, and it doesn't preclude the fact that, hey, the Chiefs, let's face it, with Mahomes not being available for OTAs, they probably need another 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Just arms on the roster. So it doesn't necessarily preclude the possibility that they might bring in another veteran. But, I still think they probably do this, because if you look at the free agent quarterback pool, it is not attractive. It is not a great group of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And, honestly, I would take Justin Fields over anybody that's in the free agent pool right now.
Tyrod?
I thought they would go Tyrod Taylor. That was sort of the route.
Well, Russell Wilson was the big rumor that the Chiefs were going to be interested in, and that did not sound appealing.
No.
Tyrod's like, bless his heart, he's 145 years old. And
the reason I liked the idea of Tyrod is I kind of feel like he's a quarterback that can go and run the game plan and not think he's there to go and win the game for you. Do what needs to be done, get the ball here. That's what the game plan calls for, because I'm filling in for somebody and I'm not the main quarterback. Not saying that Justin Fields would view it differently, but that's what I liked about Tyrod. But also this move, you exchange a 6th rounder to the Jets, but by trading for him, this does not count against the formula of the comp picks, so you are still going to get a 7th rounder back. So you've given up a 6th rounder that you're hoping is late 6th for a comp pick in the 7th, so you slide back 1 round. Whereas if you sign Tyrod Taylor, you're probably not getting the 7th round comp pick. You're probably then just keeping your 6th rounder and not having a 7th round comp pick. So I could see the strategy from it that way in trading for him, knowing you're going to get a pick back in the comp by this not counting against the formula. So that's another way of certainly going about it, too. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. And Matt Derrick is hanging out with us. We'll talk about the creativeness and the unique style of Travis Kelce's, or unique construction of Travis Kelce's contract, what it means, and the reports there with the NFL refs.
I got some thoughts about that.
Adam Schefter is talking about it, and then Kevin Seifert at ESPN, Kevin S., is reporting one of the things that the NFL is looking at, that if they have to go the route of the replacement refs, a way to maybe alleviate some of the responsibilities that would be placed on a guy who was a high school ref a year ago. Maybe that's the way we call it. I don't know.
Touchdown. Interception?
Yes. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Santa Clara up by 2 at half over Kentucky. Texas Tech leading by 7 right now over Akron. And that is with 6.5 minutes to go in that particular game. Christian Anderson out there playing in the game. Matt, Kelsey's contract. What do you make of that? Those aren't void years. They are void years, but they're not called void years. But we had wondered if the Chiefs sign Kelsey to a 1-year deal and then take the entire cap hit this year, does that mean something as opposed to adding quote-unquote void years that they've only done for Patrick Mahomes, but it's also sort of a legacy contract? So is there anything to glean from the Chiefs' strategy of instead of taking the cap hit this year, they're now going to take a dead cap hit next year of $3.5 million and a dead cap hit the year after that of $3.5 million, while only having a 4-point change cap hit this year?
Well, and they really have the option. I mean, if they end up like with a lot of cap space next year, they could go ahead and take the 7
That's true.
whole next year.
Yep. By the way, 4.9 cap this year.
Yeah. I mean, what it tells me two things. And one, the most obvious thing it tells you is just that the Chiefs don't have enough cap room for this year to squeeze the whole thing in.
Yep.
Putting that money in would it would cause them a lot of strain. I mean, they'd have to go back. I mean, and they may still have to go back into Creed Humphrey or Trey Smith to get them a little bit of money out of their contracts. Right now, I mean, I think they're, I'm trying to remember what they were. It's like maybe mid-teens, 14, 15 million, somewhere in between there, depending on the sources. Always varies.
Yeah.
They're somewhere in that ballpark. And remember, I mean, that's top 51 right now, so it doesn't include all 53 players. Doesn't include a practice squad. Doesn't include guys getting hurt and going to IR and having to bring in their replacement. So they just don't. They did not have the room to put that extra $7 million in for this season. The other thing it tells me is that I think that Travis has told them this is one last rodeo. This is the last one.
Yeah.
And why they're comfortable putting that money into future years like that, because it would come back and hurt them a little bit if he comes back another year after that, and then you're doing this again. And now, you're setting up a scenario where maybe the Chiefs are going to have dead cap, 2 years after for a guy who's been retired for 2 years. I mean, they're still going to. But if he comes back for one more year after this, it's just going to increase that dead cap down the road. So
one of the things that I don't know, and I'm putting you on the spot here, so I apologize on this, but in terms of the cap impact. So the $3 million in incentives of the 1-year $12 million deal up to 15, the $3 million in incentives are all not likely to be earned because it has to do around playoffs, and the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
So that will go on next year's cap. If he hits those incentives, can that $3 million be added to the 7 that the dead cap hit and then split it from 2 years so it's 5 and 5? Or would next year be $6.5 million and then $3.5 million after that?
Next year would be $6.5 million.
Okay, so you take the whole thing that year, even if it's post June 1.
Right. Any bonus money gets applied to the next year's salary.
There we go. So I put you on the spot, and you're smart enough because
there you go.
Good
got
job.
the
I
answer
try
right.
my best.
The big brain on Matt Derrick.
Luckily, been asked the question before.
There you go.
Know the
Awesome.
answers.
And let's hope that it's a $6.5 million salary cap next year for a dead cap hit for Travis Kelce, because that means the Chiefs made the Super Bowl.
And this is the other reason why I say it's the last rodeo, because this contract and with that, I mean, like you said, it's the void years, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you spin it any other way. There's not void years because it's
a poison pill contract, not void years.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. That's what.
No, it's poison pill.
I mean, technically, the only difference is that void years have a clause that's basically, hey, if you're on the team on a certain date, your contract voids and everything.
Yeah.
And this one is, it's not necessary. It's not a certain date that the contract voids. It's just that on June 7th next year, a $40 million salary becomes guaranteed for 2027.
Yeah.
And that's why I say that clearly Travis must have told these guys that it's the last rodeo, because it sets up that either he has to retire or the Chiefs have to release him.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they're letting him be on the roster on June 7th.
Yeah.
To get that $40 million guaranteed.
Yes.
So if he doesn't retire, the Chiefs have to release him. And you're not releasing Travis Kelce. I mean, that's not the way this story ends.
No.
So it's clearly set up for Travis to retire after the season.
Yeah. Matt Derrick is our guest. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. The NFL is now researching, going through preliminary plans for hiring and using replacement officials this season. The CBA between the NFL and the NFL Referees Association is going to expire on May 31st. They have been at a stalemate for a little bit now, to the point that the NFL is going through all of those initial steps, reaching out to small colleges, high schools, because a lot of the big college refs are not then going to join the NFL part of it because they've got a pretty good gig refereeing some of these high major college football games. And so it's like, well, just go down there and get some high major college football refs because they've been in some pretty pressure situations. Well, they're not passing up that so that they can be a ref for a few weeks. And if you get something done, then they're bringing the other refs back in. So that's what they're looking at, Matt. Here's what is what I think the NFL is the difficulty in trying to find common ground here. Because in the NFL's statement, it says, in almost 2 years of negotiations, the union has made no effort to work with us on a goal we should all share, ensuring an officiating culture that's centered around performance and accountability. Over the course of that period, we've made numerous proposals that reflect a commitment to rewarding performance. While the union has refused to engage at all on economics, their focus has centered on demands unrelated to improving the game, such as marketing fees and travel perks for the referees. And I appreciate the NFL taking a hardline stance and saying the performance isn't good enough. And we need more accountability from your officials. You're a union, so this is where we can get it, is at this CBA right now, or we're looking at another however many years the CBA lasts of going through the same thing where Roger Goodell has to be out in front of the media saying, guys, the NFL officiating is great, and everybody collectively laughing underneath their breath knowing that he knows he's full of bleep too. This statement, Matt, tells us what Roger Goodell in the league actually thinks of the officiating. We have been working to make it more around performance and accountability. And they are talking about marketing fees and travel perks. And that's what they want. I don't know, does the NFL give in and go, okay, cool, we'll get our regular refs back, but we go through the same thing? Or take a hardline stance and say, okay, we got replacement refs, and I know they're going to be bad, but we clearly don't think the regular refs are up to the standard that we want because we're trying to add more accountability and performance-based stuff on the CBA.
Yeah, I feel like there's two parts of it. And one is that, yes, I mean, I think the NFL is ready to play hardball on this one. And it's not even just simply accountability. There's still the frustration from teams, players, the league office itself, everybody, about the fact that, I mean, NFL officials are not that much different from Major League Baseball umpires in that they are resistant and have been resistant to being what they feel like is shown up. And they don't want their calls overturned. They don't want them analyzed by anybody else. If they're going to change them, they want to do it themselves. And I'll say this, I think that the officials have, since the NFL has given them a little bit more leeway to talk, and they have their little conversations amongst themselves on their headsets, and probably have more help from New York than is acknowledged because they're not supposed to be getting help from New York on certain things, but it certainly feels like that, or the booth in the stadiums is giving them assistance. Mm-hmm. But the NFL wants that to be part of the process, period. Mm-hmm. You know, that there's no reason why that they can't fix things on the field that are wrong very quickly by just having, hey, if it's the spotter in the stadium, if it's the review headquarters in New York, that they can fix. There's so many obvious little things all the time that they can fix that don't require lengthy reviews or anything of this nature.
Well, and that's one of the things I wanted to bring up too, is because the Kevin Seifert report last night said that to help mitigate the inexperience of the potential replacement refs, the NFL and the league's competition committee is finalizing a series of contingent rule changes that would allow league employees at the Art McNally Game Day Central Command Center in New York to help enforce the health and safety penalties, among others. Health and safety is roughing the passer, it's horse collar tackle, hits on defenseless receivers, things like that. But among others is interesting because I do wonder if they have replacement refs and they say, you know what, we know that everybody is frustrated by this. We're going to use more of the eye in the sky to help correct obvious mistakes on this. And there's a part of me that goes, that could actually be best for the entire game if they have to go replacement refs, and it forces the hand of the league to say, we're going to use eye in the sky to make sure these things that are obvious are fixed, and we can then continue play. Because once you set that precedent with backup officials or not, it's going to be hard to put that genie back in the bottle and tell fans, oh, no, now we're going to leave these obvious mistakes out there on the field because we only cared when it was backup officials. Regular officials, now we're good if there are obvious mistakes made.
And that's what I love about this and everything. And I say that facetiously because I love Chase Daniel, but he said this on Twitter the other day that, you know, hey, you can't go back to when it was, 2012?
2012
when they had the
Fail Mary.
Yeah, and everything. And it's like, you can't, you know, it's all it's going to take is just, once again, just one egregious wrong call, and this whole thing will be over because nobody can put up with the replacement refs making this egregiously bad call. The regular refs make egregiously bad calls on a weekly basis.
Yes.
And why does nothing happen? Because there's no better option. So, I mean, hey, are the replacement refs going to make mistakes? They probably will. Now, there's one thing you can do to help, you know, with the bad PR, and one is to try and coach the replacement refs as best you can, because, like, the obvious one is of course, incomplete touchdown. And that doesn't happen with regular season refs. And why? Because they've worked together for a long time, and they have the discipline to communicate. I mean, we've all seen, you know, that one on goal line plays, for instance, we will see one official not even ever rule it a touchdown or, you know, short or anything like that, because he's just staring at the other guy across the field waiting for him to make a call, and they're probably talking on the headset and everything. But, you know, there's plenty of times that they don't make an immediate call because they're talking about it rather than just by instinct, these guys that have never worked together before making a call.
Real quick, Sterling, I want you to weigh in on this, but when did that headset come in? Because it wasn't around in 2012, right?
It was not,
okay.
No.
So that would be an added benefit of this era of replacement refs.
I just don't understand really either side. Both, to me, are just, we care about the product. It's a multi-billion-dollar organization and product. There's enough money to make this work. There should be enough money to make the pride of the refs go away. I get they get paid fairly well, but we do understand that the travel's hard. All this, it's a very difficult job. You'll never be perfect. I almost just say use technology to your advantage, and there's got to be a number that the refs can get paid to where we understand, okay, my pride is not worth that. We'll use the eye in the sky. I get paid a good amount. We can come to some sort of agreement here. And yes, you know what? If you're the number one ranked ref, you get paid a bleep ton. If you get the last ranked ref, sorry, you don't get paid as much. Money changes and solves not everything, a lot of things. And so, sure, how about if the refs have stones, you'll do it on a performance-based situation where you get huge bonuses if you get graded correctly.
You would think. I mean, the average salary is $350,000 for an NFL official, and that's the average. So you're going to have less, you're going to have more. Obviously, that's averaging out. The NFL has offered a 10% increase in that salary.
So $35,000 would be the average increase.
So they're offering that, and up to a 30% increase for the officials that work the Super Bowl. So if you have done, there's your bonus, right?
Yeah, but that's not enough because
I mean, you're getting 30% more than just that one game, though.
Sure, no, I get that.
You're getting a 30% raise on that one game. So the bonus is you've been so good and graded out so well all season, you get to work the Super Bowl, and not only do you get the Super Bowl pay, we're adding 30% to that, so we're giving you a 30% bonus.
That's only
by
one.
Doing that,
only one. So
it should be like playoffs and everything.
Playoffs. I'd say playoffs are top half or top third. Or
the NFL is also trying to extend the probationary period of new refs. They want to make it longer. The NFL is the refs are fighting to shorten the probationary period of a newly hired referees. So You've got one side that's saying, no, we're trying to make this more accountability, and the other side saying, well, we just want like cooler perks, and we want to become full-time officials quicker. Instead of having to go through 3 years, we want it to be 1 year. You want it to be 5. That's a wide gap. They're trying to have a 1-year probationary. We hire a new official, 1-year probation. Now he's a full-time official as a part of the union. It means you can't really fire him, right? The NFL is like, no, we want it to be 5 years. We want to make sure this guy is good enough for a while before we know that he is somebody that we can have officiate these NFL games. So I do think there is one side that is dodging the accountability and trying to increase the performance of the referees on the field. And there is another side that's saying, we're going to give you a raise.
Yeah.
We're going to give you more bonuses. You just have to earn them on the field.
And the other aspect of it, too, with the accountability part of it, is that, I mean, the NFL, they grade each official. And honestly, I mean, the grading, it's not that completely dissimilar to like what PFF does. I mean, they have an analyst who watched the film of the games and everything and then decide whether or not this crew made the right calls and everything and how many mistakes that they made. None of that information is ever made public, of course, so we don't really know who the NFL thinks are the best crews until the end of the season and everything. And honestly, I mean, again, most of the evaluation is done, as my understanding, is by former officials. So it's probably a little bit light for the most part. But because of that, that's the only way that they're evaluated. The league isn't allowed by the CBA with the officials to take into consideration, hey, this crew calls way too many pass interference penalties, or this crew doesn't call enough holding penalties. So you might be, and this has been the case, there's going to be, officiating crews that have wide discrepancies as far as, which penalties they call, how the frequency of them, whether it's too many or too few. There are, you look at there are people in their sites out there to do the analytics on officials, it's like, hey, you will have trends that are not just random lock. I mean, if you've got an official who's been an official for 15 years and he consistently, calls 15% more penalties for the road team than the home team, that should be taken into consideration.
That's no longer random.
That's no longer random. I mean, it's not just like, oh, hey, for 15 years you got the team that had more penalties was the road team every single time. No, I mean, and you've called 25% more personal fouls than any other referee over the last 5 years. I mean, you're not. I mean, you should be able to take those things into consideration, and the NFL's not allowed to.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll get something done, but there's a part of me that is okay if we end up having the replacement officials, if it does mean that the NFL will feel more obligated to work with the eye in the sky and the command center to get calls right, because they don't trust the officials on the field to do that. Then great. Let's do that then, because I think that will then make the game better anyway.
Totally.
That's just, and sometimes you got to, unfortunately, lose the battle in order to hopefully win the war in the end. And I think that may be the case with this one if they go that route.
And I'm a little bit different. I know a lot of fans would still like to see full-time referees. And I get why the referees don't want that and why the league doesn't care. Because talking to league officials, they're like, fans say that they want this and everything, and it's like, what are we going to do with these guys all year? I mean, it's like during the off season, it's like, okay, for 6 months, what are we supposed to do? Like have meetings every day and we just watch old game films and go through things?
Classes,
exercise.
And well, they're already working their biceps. Look at all the head reps.
They never miss arm day.
Workout buddies, things like that.
But that's the thing is that, you don't have full-time refs at any other level. So if you're my high school principal was the head official for the Big 12.
Nice.
And was their head officiating crew for back in the 80s and early 90s.
Any good?
Yeah, he was a good official.
Good principal?
Decent principal, yeah.
Better official. He did a lot of officiating.
He was a better official than a principal, but he was still a solid principal.
Yeah.
He was that good of an official is what I'm saying. He wasn't.
And he was one of the worst officials out there. It was crazy. Every league kept firing him.
Like I said, he was like the head Big 12, ref for several years there, late 80s, early 90s. So, there's no full-time ref job going up through high school or college because they can't afford that. So they all have careers.
NFL can afford
They all
that.
have jobs, but most of these. And this is the other odd thing. It's you don't see a lot of refs in the NFL who have what I would call blue-collar jobs. They're all like investment bankers or lawyers. I mean, most of them are probably lawyers. That's like, I think, the number one career of any official. They do other things. So they're making jobs in their other careers that are probably paying like six figures. So you're not going to convince them to quit those jobs, even if you're paying them $250,000 a year and everything. But they're like, I'm making $250 in my other job too. So I'm not going to quit that.
I do think that, like, what do they do if they're full-time refs during the off season? And maybe it's just a bunch of film study. I don't know. Here's how you got this wrong. Here's what it looks like. Here's what you saw. Who knows? Maybe they can do, I don't know if they bring the refs in for like 2-week camps or something like that where they can improve. No idea if that is the case.
Make them play boot camp, and then they know what it's like. So you line them up 11 on 11.
Have them do an Oklahoma drill.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. That's right. Matt, you're the man. Appreciate it, brother.
Love you guys.
There you go. Matt, Derek.
Go Virginia.
Love you too. Yeah, there you go. Wahoo. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. Speaking of that, we've got some teams to eliminate. We got 16 teams that we're going to have to eliminate that are eliminated in the tournament. So we'll do 8 of them on the other side of the break. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up at 1 o'clock. We will eliminate the other 8 teams that lost in yesterday's first day of the tournament. It is Kentucky on top of Santa Clara by 1 with 16:45 to play. And it is Texas Tech up by 5 at halftime over Akron. We'll take a timeout. More Zone coming up next. I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We had the listen in yesterday as that game, TCU and Ohio State, came down to the wire and got to listen in to that one. We'll see if we'll be listening in as 13 minutes to play in the 10-7 matchup in St. Louis with Kentucky and Santa Clara. It is Kentucky leading by 2 points with 13 minutes to go in that game in St. Louis, the first game of the 4 days being played today in St. Louis. The Iowa State-Tennessee game coming up 30 minutes after this game ends. And then tonight, Purdue and Queens, followed by Mizzou and Miami, Florida. We have 16 teams that lost yesterday in the NCAA tournament, which means that we have 16 teams we must eliminate in the bracket of sound. We will eliminate all of the teams in the South region that lost, and every game but 2 was played in the South region yesterday. Florida versus Prairie View A&M and Clemson and Iowa play today, but the other 6 games took place yesterday. Hey, I went 6-0, so that was nice. Sterling's trips with the boys being dudes region in the South. Let's go to the 5-12 matchup, Mike. And Vanderbilt the 5-1, 12 McNeese. McNeese no longer state, but it was a close one, most of it. Then Vandy started getting hot and pulling away, and that means that McNeese is eliminated, and this sound is gone. Robert Baseball Witt, BBW. Well, that one's gone. McNeese out of there. Nebraska and Troy, the 4-13 matchup. So we have a 4-5 matchup there in that second round in Oklahoma City. Troy, the 13 seed, they have been eliminated. They lose, and that means we lost this sound with Troy.
I mean, that also sounds like Roy Williams. So that's
no. Coach Roy Williams is more like this, talk like this, and he would talk about his youngsters on the basketball court: Nick, Jacques, Rafe, and Drew, Kirk Heinrich. I got 13 youngsters in there crying their eyes out. I give Flip that North Carolina. I'm going there, but just not telling you that.
Just not telling you that. We lost Troy. Nebraska dominated Troy yesterday. And by the way, Troy lost their coach because Scott Cross, the head coach of Troy, is taking the Georgia Tech job. So that job has been filled. So Troy lost the game, and their coach is moving on. North Carolina and VCU. North Carolina led most of that game, dominating the game until VCU turned it on. North Carolina could not stop the tidal wave. The 11 took care of the 6. North Carolina loses, and that means this sound is now out.
Kelly graduated that weekend. Kind enough to let me see Kelly graduate. I worked out with you guys too. I think you said Enberg. Oh, yeah. 2 great Dicks. Yes. D-E-D. Someone's going to cut that off, and it's not going to sound right. It's not going to sound right. 2 great Richards.
You want to cut that off?
Known by as Dick, with the last name beginning with an E. 2 D-Es. Yes. And thank you, Dick Ebersol. Yes. And thank you, whoever edits that out. Fox for 3, trying to change the subject. In this day of social media, good luck, Coach guys. Oh, I'm toast.
He was toast. Somebody did cut that, unfortunately for him, and he wondered the entire time if anybody would even have the ability to clip that little thing that he said there about that.
Don't clip that.
Found out they could. Found out they could clip that and use it out of context. That's the North Carolina VCU game. The 11 seed moving on. They will take on Illinois, and boy, the Illini were impressive against Penn, the 14 seed. There was no 3-14 upset there. Illinois took care of business early on. Penn lost. The 14 seed is out, and we lost this sound.
See how he says he met with an editor? You think he called me? Hey, Pete, you want to edit my book? Collaborate?
I don't know if you want to get involved with this.
No.
I wouldn't suck you into this.
No, this process.
You want to edit a book about 12 principles of how to live principled life based on a lot of unprincipled living?
How did you turn that into a children's book? I think that's
actually, scratch and sniff.
Fascinating.
Wait for the Netflix series.
This just smells like Jim Beam.
Oh, boy.
It smells like cocaine.
Oh, come on.
Jake's children's book.
I'd buy that book.
Yeah.
Honestly, it seems like a good deal. If it comes with those two things,
Right.
scratch and sniff.
It's pretty good. Well, it just smells like that. It doesn't. You don't actually get the product. It just smells like it. But I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people that don't even like cocaine. They just like the smell of it.
You like the way it smells.
Yeah, that's right. Let's slide down then to the final two games played in this region yesterday, and that is the 10-7 matchup. A&M Buckyball took care of St. Mary's last night, and the 7-seed St. Mary's lost, so that means we lost this sound.
He's not supposed to be on the court.
It don't
He's not
matter.
supposed to be on the court.
Y'all just talk to him. Forget all that.
No, he was on the court.
So what?
You think he said something? He probably know who his dad is.
Stop it. Y'all just said something.
No, because he's on the court in his face.
So what? Everybody on the
you
court.
can't do that.
Yeah, you can.
No,
Everybody
you
on the
cannot
court.
do that.
Y'all
No,
just
you
said
can't
something
do
to
that.
him.
So you think his dad was
crazy?
No, his dad was 100% wrong.
Giannis is wrong? Bro, Giannis said something to him.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No, he not.
Look, wait
No,
there.
his dad is coming up to him. What is his dad doing on the court? His dad is not supposed to be on the court. You can yell as much as you want to. He's an idiot. If you think that's right, you're an idiot too.
Giannis said something.
No, that's not true. No, I'm just telling you. That dad is an idiot, and if you think he's an idiot, you're an idiot too. I will say that no.
His dad is always on the court.
I will say this. We all have met his dad, and he has.
His dad's always on the court.
He should be on the court. You don't have an entitlement because your son is playing to be on the court.
Hold on, time out. He's always on the court.
He shouldn't have an entitlement.
I don't care. He's always on the court.
He should not be on the court talking to other players.
Bro, Giannis said something to him. He didn't say
came up
nothing
to
to Giannis.
Giannis.
No, he did not.
No, that's not true. He couldn't have said
walking in
anything
the line
to
behind
him.
his son.
What do you mean walking in line behind his son? He shouldn't be on the court. He didn't play in the game.
Always on the court.
No, he shouldn't be.
He shouldn't be.
He shouldn't be.
There's no entitlement for that.
Oh man, none of those guys really wanted to say what they felt about that, and Shaq was so wrong on that one because Giannis did not go up and talk to him. That guy, Halliburton's dad, went right up to Giannis. That is St. Mary's. They are eliminated. Houston, Idaho, the final game in the South that was played yesterday. Houston, the 2 seed, took care of the 15 seed Idaho. And that means Idaho is out, and this sound was eliminated.
As Baines counter moves when offensive line set high on him or the club and hump. Which sounds like a bar somewhere. Come on down to the club and hump. $1 drink night at the club and hump.
I'd go.
Yep.
Would you swing through?
Yes, $1 drink night. I don't even drink. Is it?
Even soda's not a bad deal.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like free refills and it's only $1, that's great. I just paid $1 for drinks all night. That's awesome, man. It's a great deal. There you go. There's the final game in the South, which is the Sterling's Trips with the Boys Being Dudes region.
Great region.
That's right. We'll play the other 10 teams that were eliminated yesterday. Coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, we'll talk with Mick Schaefer at 1 o'clock. Get his thoughts on what's going on in St. Louis today, as there's a game being played right now with Kentucky and Santa Clara, getting you set for a number of games today. We'll do that on the other side with Chris Atkins, the bookie killer. He's going to give you some games for the rest of the day, including a couple of the local teams, the 2 local teams playing tonight. We'll do that coming up next. All right, welcome back here in the zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. We continue rolling along on a Friday, day after the first day of the NCAA tournament and the madness that took place yesterday. How much will happen today, we'll all find out. And when it comes to making real money during March Madness, there's only one man to listen to. That man is the bookie killer, Christopher Atkins, owner of GBIWins.com. Chris has been in the sports handicap world now for 42 years. Knows how to beat the bookmakers against the point spread on any given day. Chris has 3 free winners today on his free recorded hotline. Call 1-800-885-2525, 1-800-885-2525. Welcome back, Chris. What do you got in store for us today, man? Hopefully more madness.
Jason, what's happening? I'm going to officially change the name. It's not called March Madness. It's going to be called the Madness of March, because what you saw yesterday with Ohio State, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and BYU, those are teams that overlooked their opponents. They were looking towards the second round, and you saw what happened. They're going to be doing the same thing that we're doing. They're going to be watching the games now from their couches in their living rooms. That's the bottom line, all right? But listen, I have something going on today. I've got 3 games, like you said, okay? I have a guarantee. I didn't even say this to you. I am guaranteeing a win of this Alabama-Hofstra game, which starts early this afternoon. Guys, I eat and sleep and drink and breathe Hofstra basketball. But listen, don't read through this, because there might be times where I go with Hofstra and there might be times that I go against Hofstra. I am going to be in Benchmark International Arena in Tampa Bay watching this game with 7 of my largest clients, and I'm going to release it to all of your listeners right now on my free recorded hotline. All you have to do is dial 1-800-885-2525. Again, that's 1-800-885-2525. You'll be connected to my free recorded hotline, where you're going to get the winner of Alabama and Hofstra. And, guys, it comes with a guarantee. If for some reason, and it's not going to happen, but if for some reason I lose this game, I hate that word, I am going to give you the whole weekend of my information absolutely free. Guys, once again, information makes people money. This Alabama-Hofstra game early this afternoon is going to be a bookie killer. And as an added bonus, guys, I'm also going to give you the winner of California-Kansas and Missouri playing Miami. It's free. It's on me. And once again, it's on my free recorded hotline. So I'm going to say the number again, 1-800-885-2525. That's 1-800-885-2525. Call my free recorded hotline. Get on my games. And if you like what you see, give us a call tomorrow, and maybe we'll do some business.
You know, last year there was a lot of chalk in the tournament, and there were a lot of predictions going into this tournament about it's going to be chalky again. And if you went chalk yesterday, the books appreciated your money, because the underdogs were killing it yesterday in the tournament, and that's what makes your selections better than what you get in the public selections.
Well, you know what I was saying before. I mean, information makes people money. I don't just throw a dart at a dartboard like I said yesterday. I mean, a lot goes into picking information games. You know, I don't play parlays. You know, I don't play reverses. I don't do any of that nonsense, all right? When there's a game that has pertinent information like this Hofstra-Alabama game that goes off, or these 2 games this evening, California and Kansas, as well as Missouri and Miami, I'm locked and loaded, Jason. I mean, these are 3 games. I'm going 3-0 today. And like I said, this first game comes with a guarantee. I must win this game. I must cover the spread of this Alabama-Hofstra matchup, or I will give you the whole weekend for free, and that's not going to happen. Trust me. I work hard for my money, my brother. So, again, all your listeners, it's 1-800-885-2525. That's 1-800-885-2525. Call that number right now. It's a recorded message. Get on my games. Make yourself some money. And remember, Chris Atkins is the man.
We got the 2 local games, too, with those 3 giveaways, so that is awesome as well. Once again, Chris has 3 absolute winners on his free recorded hotline. All you got to do is dial 1-800-885-2525, 1-800-885-2525. Build your bankroll today, 3-0, absolutely free, just by dialing 1-800-885-2525. and be a winner like we were yesterday. Chris, appreciate it as always, brother. Best of luck, man.
Jason, have a great day. Once again, today is free. It's on me. 1-800-885-2525. Call me now.
There he is, Chris Atkins. He is the bookie killer. It is gbiwins.com, but the number 1-800-885-2525. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling on this Friday edition of The Zone, and more right after this.
Twitter thinks he's funny.
Shame on you nerds.
His wife and kids think he's lame.
No!
We couldn't get Paul, so we're stuck with Mick.
Yep. Okay, still got it going on.
Mick Schaefer on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Again, that phone number with Chris Atkins, 1-800-885-2525. He's got the Hofstra, Alabama game that he's giving away for free, and the Missouri-Miami, along with Kansas and Cal Baptist. All three of those games given away for free, 1-800-885-2525. We head to St. Louis, where Kentucky and Santa Clara are currently playing. Kentucky with a 3-point lead with in one of the TV timeouts right now. We talk with Mick Schaefer, who is in St. Louis covering the Missouri Tigers. Mick, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Listen, I'll give this away for free. Just bet the money line on every underdog.
It's been good.
It'll be fine.
It's been good so far, man. They started off 5-0. And then yesterday there was a 9 seed, a 9 seed, a 10 seed, an 11, an 11, a 12, all winning outright. It was nice.
Well, and Mick, if you did it on FanDuel with any team goes up 10-plus points money line, guess what would have happened?
You'd have got
Sienna game.
Sienna
game, yeah, baby.
Sienna. I don't know. Hopefully, if you did that, you did not do that with the Arizona game today, because they got out to an early lead, and they're winning by a lot. Maybe do it with Florida and Prairie View A&M. Maybe that's the one you do it with. Who knows? Mick, Dennis Gates said yesterday that he's not sure it's going to be a home game after last week talking about how it was a road crowd with Kentucky in Nashville. That, hey, everybody else is able to get tickets, too, to these games. You've been around town a little bit. Does it feel like it's going to be a home game for Missouri, the black and gold? There's probably a lot of blue walking around right now, or was, getting ready for the game that's being played. But what's the scene looking like there in St. Louis before tonight's matchup?
Of course it's going to look like a home game. I don't know how many fans Miami will bring, but there's like 2 million Missouri fans that live in the city right here. And so because of that, we've seen plenty of Missouri fans, but it hasn't been this crush because everybody's at home. They got people from, Kansas City that might be leaving now to come over.
True.
It's such a late game, right? Columbia people might be not even on the road yet. So, yeah, I think it's going to just be a crush. I mean, you look at the ticket prices last night, it was like $300 just to get in the door for this game. And so they're on demand. It's going to be a home game for Missouri, that field. But as is the case in these matchups, Missouri has been downplaying that, and Miami has been using that as motivation. That's all they can talk about, as well as because the Tigers are quick to point out, hey, the last time we played here was like the worst loss ever, lost by 40-some to Illinois. So it's not just the venue. Now that crowd is more 50-50. But I think, look, just old school way of thinking. We saw it in the first four. Miami of Ohio was a 7.5-point dog against SMU, but they played an hour away from campus, and that was a home game, and that helped them tremendously, I think. And so I think absolutely Missouri can and should tap into what will be a very pro-Tiger crowd tonight.
It's interesting. We had C.Y. Young on yesterday, associate head coach for Miami, and was with the Missouri Tigers the previous 3 years with Dennis Gates. And I asked him about that, about it being played in St. Louis, and he's like, yeah, we weren't really too happy about that. And he's like, but you know what? He said the way we're approaching it, sometimes it's good just to simply go, get away from everything, and have your team there and sort of take the, it's us right here. This is who we are. It's in this room, right, this hotel that we're staying at. It's us right here. And he even said, last year in playing Drake, he said, we went to Wichita, and it was pretty close. And he said it maybe wasn't the best thing for us because there were some different things and distractions and feeling like we were playing so close that he goes, it almost felt like it would have been better for us just to get away, just to go somewhere and get away, which, by the way, Bill Self talked about and was like, hey, San Diego, beautiful weather, right? Great. But also you're away from a lot of things. You're not playing in Wichita or in Omaha or Kansas City or something like that you're getting away. And I thought that was interesting from CY saying, looking back last year, that it probably would have been best because of now seeing how everything took place that week, that it would have been nice maybe just to go somewhere away and just be us. And that's certainly how Miami's approaching it.
Yeah, and I think all these coaches from Self to Gates to everybody else in the tournament, I feel like they've wrapped up all these comments with this line of, like, look, it's our 35th game of the season. We played on the road. We played at home. We played neutral courts. We've got on buses. We've got on lots of planes as well. We played at 11 a.m. We're going to play at 9 p.m. All of that at this point really doesn't matter, and that's kind of how they've wrapped it all up. Now afterward, you maybe point blame at something, but I think that rings true in that, like, these guys are so seasoned at this point. Once the game starts, really it shouldn't be a whole lot about the crowd. And if it is, maybe that's on you. That's a weakness of your team.
Yeah, and you know what? These crowds get into the games. Like, how many higher-seeded teams find themselves in a road game? Wisconsin found themselves in a road game yesterday when they were playing High Point because Arkansas and Hawaii were rooting for High Point. So 3 of the 4 fan bases there were rooting for the 12 seed. So Wisconsin.
And you see that a lot with KU, right? Because they've got the target on their back, and wherever they go, when they're a 1 or a 2 seed, the teams waiting the 8s or the 9s or whatever, they're not cheering for KU in that game. So it does become a road game crowd. But I don't think that happens with Missouri. I don't think they have that dynamic with Purdue fans, sticking around.
Yes, right.
Here, because I don't know, they probably want to play Missouri over Miami.
Yeah, because you'd be rooting for the lower seeded team typically, and that's Missouri in this one, which is kind of interesting in the Kansas and Cal Baptist one, because I think St. John's, Northern Iowa, and Cal Baptist will all be rooting for Cal Baptist, but it's also 90 minutes from their campus, so there'll be clearly a lot of people that'll be wanting to go to that game too. The BYU played last night, Mick, and I made the comparison to Mizzou to a degree in that Sean Miller essentially said that, look, our game plan is that Debansa's going to get his. We just can't let everybody else go off.
Yeah.
And so, as long as we do that. And it felt like that's kind of what happened to Missouri the last couple of games down the stretch with Mark Mitchell getting 30 and 30. That the other teams were like, look, Mark Mitchell's going to get his, but while doing that, everybody else is standing around, kind of watching and getting out of their rhythm offensively, and it's the Mark Mitchell show, and we're going to take our chances with he'll get his as long as nobody else gets theirs. I wonder if that's something Miami takes in their approach, because, Mick, some of the best games Missouri has played this year is when Mark Mitchell has 8 or 9 assists in a game and not 30 points.
Right, I think he had 8 assists in that Tennessee game, didn't he? We're doing a graphic tonight on the show at 6 o'clock of, like, because we talked to Mitchell, like, hey, man, you're saving the best for last. And he really is playing his best basketball of his career in the final, games of his career. And so we're like, look, it's not just been the last 2 games of 32 apiece. The last 6, he's averaging like 25 a game. But downside is Mizzou's 2 and 4 in those games. And isn't that the weird thing about basketball? Often the leading scorer in the NBA is not on a great team. It's not like the best basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan, right? Jason, when he was winning all those scoring titles and winning actual titles as well. It usually doesn't work that way.
You should have done the Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell comp. That probably would have been
that would have been better.
That probably would have behooved you.
The scoring titles, like, I'm thinking back because I know that it took Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant for that guy even to get past the first round. So maybe not. I don't know. Who knows? But I said earlier today, Mick, that if Missouri's going to the dance, Mark Mitchell needs to bring at least a +1 with him tonight.
Right.
He can't go low.
I don't know who that's going to be, whether it's I tell you what, it was fun talking to Jaden Stone yesterday. I hadn't done that much. First of all, great accent. Second of all, very introspective, smart dude, and very appreciative of being here. He's like, I've never, ever thought, even dreamed of this, right? I grew up in Australia, and even when I got over to the high school ranks in college, I didn't really think it was going to happen. And so him being in his first game, I think Sean Phillips as well, so a few Tigers out there will be playing in their first games. So, yeah, he's going to need a second fiddle.
There you
go.
go.
It would help, too, tonight.
Yep. Nick, appreciate it, man. Just to touch base with you, get back to your daughter's game, and enjoy the game tonight, brother.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Absolutely. There you go. Let's listen into what's going on in St. Louis right now. Kentucky trailing by 2 with 30 seconds to play.
Trying to get Cuco 1 and 2 hands, and in that transition, he lost the basketball.
We barely talked about it, but Santa Clara has held their own inside, even on points in the paint, and +4.
Okay, yeah, so it's Santa Clara's ball underneath, up by 2. Here you go.
Inbound right corner, Allen Graves. He's been a big piece of this second half for the Broncos. The WCC Freshman of the Year. Wants the handoff for Gavalugov, turns the corner, drives inside, got Garrison in the air, layup, no, rebound loose, Diamante had it, it's still loose, Owe falls on it, throws it out to Aberdeen, the officials stopped it for a timeout, Kentucky. Aberdeen would have had a run out to tie the game, but the Kentucky bench wanted a timeout because the arrow favors Santa Clara, so they couldn't have a tie-up, and Kentucky will have it, 24.2 left. Herb Sendek is furious with the officials. He has not been all that vocal, but he is very upset. Time out on the court. Santa Clara 70, Kentucky 68. You're listening to the men's basketball tournament on the Westwood One NCAA.
All right, so there you go. Yeah, that was interesting because looking at the actual TV part of it, they'd have to show another angle, but from the angle they showed on the broadcast, it looked like it was an immediate tie-up with everybody. Like Ortega, oh my God, yeah, no, he had the ball there. Nobody had. You know what? It was a quick joint possession, but the Santa Clara player fell down and his hands came off the ball.
Yeah, it slipped off.
Even in slow-mo, it didn't look like it was long enough for it to be a jump ball.
I would agree.
So Owe then had the ball in his hands and went to pass it.
I think it's the right call.
I do too.
I will say if you're
live, I understand why Herb Sendek got mad.
Correct. By the way, Santa Clara had a chance to ice that. That was a layup right there, easy under the basket, and he. I don't know if they got above the rim. That thing was almost a wedgie. Yeah. It was just a...
it hit the backboard and the short side of the rim and came right back and then got
I don't know if he looked like he kind of panicked a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So Kentucky is trailing by 2 in this game in St. Louis.
And I'm going to have my heart ripped out by a Ortega Owe 3, I'm assuming.
Maybe. Have 24 seconds left. Let's send it back out there.
2 seconds remaining in regulation. The Wildcats have the basketball with a shot clock off. Jordan Cornette, it's just about do or die for Kentucky.
Got to stay true to who you are here, and staying true to who you are is allowing Ortega Owe to get downhill and make a play here. You do not need to play hero ball and get a 3. Everything offensively needs to be inside the arc, getting to the rim. It's where all the success has come for Kentucky in the second half.
Owe has 17 of his game-high 24 in the second half, but Kentucky hasn't had a field goal in 4.5 minutes. Far side left wing Chandler lobs to Owe, right side switch on Ensminger, spins inside, layup good. 9.9 seconds. Tie game at 70. Santa Clara out right to left. No timeout. Gavalugov high right wing, works out of the arc, throws to Graves, right wing 3 for the lead. It is good. 2.4 seconds. So Sendek wanted timeout. Kentucky the other way. Owe for the tie. Puts it in for 35 feet. Ortega Owe saves the day for Kentucky. He banks it in for 35. Graves for 3, Owe for 3, back and forth in the final 3 seconds, and we go to overtime to start the day in St. Louis. Kentucky 73, Santa Clara 73.
Wow! My goodness, dude. March Madness. Herb Sendek did want the timeout after Santa Clara hit the 3. He didn't get it. It was immediate inbound. And Ortega Owe, 35 feet, falling towards the basket, right? Not even a jump stop, jump straight in the air. Jump stop while still fading towards the basket, releases the ball hard off the backboard, front part of the rim, into the bucket. The ball comes out of his hands with .4 on the clock.
That ball was launched. It almost broke the backboard.
Wow. .4, the ball got out of his hands.
Let me tell you this. Ohio State fans are pissed. They couldn't get to that shot in 4.1 seconds. They got that in
2.9. Unbelievable. And Herb Sendek was then immediately going to the officials because he was running down the court calling timeout, timeout, timeout. He wanted the time. They had 3 left. How about both teams not calling a timeout to set anything up? Owe goes and lays it up. Santa Clara with 9 seconds left sprints down the floor, hits the 3. Kentucky then gets the ball back, goes down and hits a 3. No, timeout, let's set something up, guys. Let's do this. Hey, you know what? Let's call the timeout and set up the play where the guy dribbles at the top and then shoots a fadeaway 3. Let's do that play. My goodness.
Wow.
Let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We got some sound to eliminate in the bracket of sound, and Santa Clara and Kentucky, neither of those teams have been eliminated yet. Akron down 7 with 11 minutes to go, playing Texas Tech. More zone right after this.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Sex, intimacy, love. These three things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts, with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in
We got a tie game in St. Louis, 79-79, Kentucky and Santa Clara with 1:45 to play.
In OT.
And over to the time. And Santa Clara misses their shot. Kentucky with possession, 1.5 to go. We will go out there and have a live listen-in to that game. You know what? Let's listen in right now. Let's see what's going on.
To read the defense at the top of the key to try and wind and grind to try and find a gap to pursue to get to the rim. Everyone in the building, especially the Broncos, know he's trying to drive it, and yet still they cannot prevent it.
Otega Owe has 2 free throws. 73% shooter this year, 6 of 8, but just 1 of his last 3 today. Free throw on the way, and good. Everybody knows the narratives around Kentucky, especially this year, that they got a high-price roster full of NIL and some guys who are me before we. Otega Owe, the opposite of that. A guy who has battled through turf toe all year for the preseason. Second free throw rattles in. He has scored in double figures in all but 1 game this year when he had 8 against South Carolina in late February. And he has gritted it out with a career-high 33, and Kentucky's needed every bit of them today in St. Louis. 81-79, Kentucky leads. Final minute of overtime. Gavalugov working against the bigger Garrison.
He's hunting a 3.
Top of the arc, 3 on the way, blocked by Garrison. Owe grabs it, throws ahead to Garrison. He will rock the rim. A big blue explosion in St. Louis. Brandon Garrison makes it 83-79 Kentucky. Timeout Santa Clara. Listen to him.
There you go. Now a 4-point lead for Kentucky. Boy, he's not wrong about hunting the 3. Garrison with the block. He had the bigger, 6'10" Garrison on him, and the guy just hit a 3 in the previous possession, but he was just dribbling at the top of the key, taking a step forward, taking a step back, and thought the jab step pull-up against the guy who's 6'10" was going to work as a guard who's 6 foot, and that was a pretty easy read and block by Garrison, and then a run out. So that wasn't the best idea, but it was a great call there on the radio. He's hunting the 3, which is exactly what he was doing, and it got blocked there. So when they come back, it's a 4-point lead for Kentucky. It'll be Santa Clara ball when they get back from the commercial break. 48.5 seconds left in overtime. And if you did not see what happened, how they got to overtime was that Santa Clara was up by 2. It was a tie game. Santa Clara went up 2 with a shot. Santa Clara was down by 1. They hit a 3 to go up 2. Kentucky then got the bucket to tie it up. Santa Clara came down, hit a 3 to go up 3 with 2.4 seconds on the clock. They immediately inbound the ball. Kentucky does. No timeouts, just back and forth. And Owe hits a 35-foot running 3 off the backboard. The ball left his hands with 0.4 on the clock and banked it in to go to overtime. And Otega Owe has been really, really good in overtime. He's been brilliant today overall with 33 in the game. Let's head back out there. A 4-point lead for Kentucky. Santa Clara ball.
Great for the right wing. Grabbed by Diamante. On the run left to right. He goes all the way in. Layup, no, but a foul.
Are you kidding me from Garrison? Are you kidding me? A big out there guarding a sharpshooter. And Gavalugov twice. He's now prevented not even a contest, but blocking the 3-point shot, allowing his Wildcats to possess the basketball. This guy has been the difference in overtime.
Diamante at the free throw line. He's 2 for 2 in this game. Ultra experienced NCAA tournament player, most on Kentucky's roster. Free throw on the way, and good. Biggest Kentucky lead since the 12:21 mark of the second half. It's 84-79 Cats, 31.6 seconds left. Obviously, Otega Owe has been the player of the game for Kentucky, but maybe we got to do it football style, offense and defense, and give Garrison the defensive player of the game, 6 blocks. Diamante's free throw good, 85-79 Kentucky. 8-0 run for the Wildcats since they trailed by 2 in OT. Gavalugov hands off to Hammond, left wing, 25 seconds. He works free, top of the arc, straight on 3, missed it badly left, offensive rebound, Ensminger. Ball faking a left corner triple, it's good. 18.9 seconds left. Timeout, Herb Sendek and Santa Clara. It's a 1-possession game. A 3-pointer out of the left corner from Ensminger. And with 18.9 to play in OT, the Broncos pull back within 3.
Ball security, paramount now for Kentucky. You got to imagine Santa Clara, they're not going to foul right away.
All right, so they're at timeout now. So there's 18.9 seconds left to go. It's 85-82 Kentucky over Santa Clara. Once this game ends, if it does, then we'll get into our breakdown of Missouri and Kansas, play some teams that lost in the NCAA tournament yesterday. We were planning on doing that here with the Bracket of Sound, but the Bracket of Live Sound going on with this great game finishing up. Texas Tech is on top of Akron by 5 points with 6.5 to go in that game. Akron, the 12 seed, trying to pull off the 12-5 upset. Christian Anderson's been playing in this game for Texas Tech. But the Santa Clara player, Gavalyevgov, he wears number 2 for Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Back-to-back possessions, he's got Garrison on him. And he hunts for the 3 and tries to go a step back, and Garrison is 6'10". And this dude, the guard for Santa Clara, has come up zeros twice on that. He's 6'3", and he has attempted back-to-back times attempted a 3 being guarded, and it was blocked by Garrison. They coming out of the timeout here. So here we go. They're 19.2 left. 3-point lead for Kentucky.
19.2 seconds to go in overtime. Kentucky inbounding under their own basket. Colin Chandler will do it under pressure from Alan Graves. He fakes left, he throws right into Owe, who is bumped with 2 hands by Mahi and foul with 17.7 seconds in OT. Owe will shoot 2 free throws with Santa Clara well over the limit.
Just a ho-hum 33-point game to this point from Otega Owe.
Oh, and by the way, 8 rebounds and 7 assists to go with it. What a night. Or a day, as it were. Who cares what time it is in March Madness?
Time's in a vacuum on a first-round day here in St. Louis.
Owe at the line where he's 8 of 10 today. Free throw is good. 27 of his career-high 34 since halftime. One more coming for Owe. 86-82 Kentucky, 17.7 seconds left. On the way and off the front rim, it crawls over the iron and drops. 10 made free throws for Owe in 12 tries. 5-point lead Kentucky. Kavalugov at the other end gives it to Ensminger, forces up a deep right wing 3, missed it short. Rebound grab by Diabate, throws it ahead to Aberdeen. That will be all. He goes in for the style point slam.
There you go. Kentucky's going to hold on in overtime against Santa Clara, the 7 seed winning. They will move on to face off against the winner of Iowa State and Tennessee State, and their season continues by way of a 35-foot running 3 at the buzzer to end overtime off the backboard by Otega Owe. A nice little couple 3 weeks for the Owe family. Odafe gets paid a lot of money, and Otage goes and does this for Kentucky today in St. Louis. So some... It's a good month for the Owe family there. So there you go, 89-82 with 2 seconds to go. Kentucky's going to hold on. We are going to go to break. We'll come back. We will eliminate some sound in the Bracket of Sound, and we will get our breakdowns of Mizzou and Kansas for tonight's games. More Zone next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Kentucky first winners of the day over Santa Clara. Texas Tech pulling away from Akron. They are now up 16 on Akron in the first round. 3 minutes to go. Arizona all over LIU Brooklyn by 24. 24 at halftime. And Wright State with 30 seconds to go in the half against Virginia. The 14 seed is leading by 3 over Virginia. But that's probably not going to work out in their favor. Virginia's never been known to have a big upset in the tournament. They've never been known to lose early as a really high seed. So Virginia definitely will take care of that game because it's just not something they do. All right, let's eliminate some teams in the bracket of sound. Let's head over to the Tickle Your Tonsils region. This is the Midwest. Only 2 games played yesterday in the Midwest. Michigan took care of Howard, and with Howard winning in the play-in game, taking on Michigan. And by the way, Howard was playing pretty darn well in that game.
Yeah.
And shout out Dennis Gates, who early in the season went to Howard the first game of the year for Mizzou and talked about how good Howard was and was like, this is a tournament team we just played. And they were a 16 seed. They ended up losing by 21, but it was within single digits for a good portion of that.
Up at half?
Yeah, so here is the sound we lost, the 16 seed Howard gone. Sterling got rim last night.
Did you?
I did. I got it.
There you go. Out. Gone. Gonzo. See ya. St. Louis slew. The 9 seed knocked off Georgia. The 8 seed. 8 seed Georgia gone. And this sound. It is odd to see somebody built like that and have nothing on the backside. And the only reason I notice it, and I'm like, good God, is from talking with you and studying. So
wow, that could be my role in your world.
I was looking at his butt and thinking of you, Cynthia. So I hope that makes you feel better.
Great.
I was honest with her. I was watching the Miami offensive line, staring at that guy's butt, thinking of Cynthia Freeland. Typically what people do.
Totally normal.
Yeah.
Totally normal.
I don't understand why somebody thought that was weird. It's a very, very normal thing for people to do. So it's all good. Let's head to the west. Michael, the Blow for Bane region. We head to the west, and we had that 4-5 game, the 4-13 Arkansas, Hawaii, and the 12-5 High Point and Wisconsin. The 12 pulls off the upset, knocks off the 5 seed Wisconsin. Wisconsin is out, and therefore we lost this sound with Wisconsin.
Yes. Do you mind grabbing me a half iced tea and half lemonade?
Arnold Palmer.
No. Jack Nicklaus, but I do get that a lot.
Fantastic. Be back in a jiff.
Excuse me, pal.
Yes, sir.
I asked for a Tanqueray and tonic, but I think they gave me Bombay instead.
I'm the boss boy, sir. Sorry. I will get your server right now. Do you want some bread?
No, just the right booze, thanks.
Okay.
I think I rattled him.
Excuse me? Gentleman would like new gin and tonic. He said Bombay, not Tanqueray.
You told Speethy that was on me, man?
No.
You threw me under the bus.
No.
What, so you could be the hero?
No,
You took a knife and stabbed me in my back. That's what time it is?
He just
I can't work like this, man. Watching my 6 all day, every day.
I just wanted to help. I offer bread.
You mess around, you find out. You're fired.
Fired?
Hey, pal. Yo, do you think you were a little harsh on the dude?
Sorry you had to hear that, Mr. Gilmore. You don't know the backstory. Mr. Couples, more Blueberry Jubilee?
Nah. Maybe one more.
Yeah, back in 2.
Today's challenge is the Maxi Golf League, who allege that they are going to make golf more watchable.
That's what she said.
Great joke, Mr. Shoffley.
Thanks, buddy.
Kelsey and Happy Gilmore gone with Wisconsin. BYU took on Arkansas, Hawaii. I skipped right over that. My bad. Arkansas and Hawaii, because Arkansas won the game. They knocked off the 13 seed Hawaii, and they are out. The 13 seed is gone, and so is this sound. We named every one of Saturn's moons?
Yes, Jupiter has like 95.
How many Uranus have?
Probably some.
Yeah.
Haven't checked recently.
Gone.
Gone.
That sound. And gone, Hawaii. All right, so BYU took on Texas in the first round and lost. Texas advances. BYU is out, and so is this sound.
Okay, and I understand. If you're not calling that, that's fine. You had the exact same play at both ends in the last play of the game. The exact same play. The exact same play.
There you go. That is gone. BYU and Texas. Texas moving on. BYU is gone. Gonzaga and Kennesaw State. The Zags win. Kennesaw State, the 14 seed, is gone, and so is this sound.
I don't think they
No
should.
iPads.
They should have video games anyway.
That's right.
Or iPads. They're terrible for you. You know?
Do they have them?
Yes.
Okay.
They're good for mommy and daddy when they want a quiet meal.
Wow.
You know?
I'll just stick a book in their hand.
Oh,
Read.
yeah.
That work.
Yep.
Big red rig.
Who are you talking about, them or me? Try to take away my phone and my iPad. I'll scream and cry.
Right.
I don't want this book. I hate you. I'm going to slam my door.
I mean, you got it down.
Give me my technology.
Right.
And that's why Susan's like, give Dad back his iPad, would you please?
Yeah.
I need a break.
That team is gone with Kennesaw State. Let's move over to the Ryan just got tased region. They just tased Ryan. And the earlier games in the day was the 6-11 matchup, Louisville and South Florida, 6 versus 11. It was a closer game than it probably should have been late, with Louisville leading by 20 points at one point. South Florida came back to get within 4 or 5. Didn't matter. They lost. The 11 seed is out, and so is this sound.
So that I became like a person who was running through the halls of my house screaming, "We drafted Xavier Worthy!" And my friends are like, who body snatched you? What do you mean we drafted Xavier Worthy?
I forget where I was, but you were the first person to tell me that
No,
we
I was
drafted the fastest
screeching.
man in the draft.
No, I was screeching. I couldn't believe it. I was freaking out. We're
I
talking
couldn't
about
believe it
like,
either. I'm like, wait, is she right? I had to look this up. I'm like, she get the wrong information here, but yeah, we traded up. And
yeah, we're talking about cover 2, cover 4, cover 0,
Ooh,
man
see?
cover. We're learning. I continue to learn.
Maybe somebody else that even knows what those coverages are.
Yeah, I'm not ready
She
to be
knows
an
leverage.
analyst right now,
That's
but
been- yeah.
give me 16 months.
Roughly the time for Kelsey's career that he has left when she said that, 16 months once Kelsey is done playing. We move over to, we stay in that area with Michigan State and North Dakota State. We're not going to move up to the top of the bracket just yet. Michigan State, North Dakota State. That game resulted in the 3 seed knocking off the 14. 14 seed North Dakota State is out. That means we lost this sound.
And I heard that bald, can I say penis-looking head guy? Probably
Did.
not. I think you did. Yeah, okay. Hey, what's his name?
Paul Feinbaum.
Feinbaum.
Yeah, no, you did already. So, and then we played it again multiple times. So there you go. Boy, randomly, sometimes you don't plan on sounds being the same person when you're putting the bracket together, but that's what it's going to end up sounding like here in
Wow.
just a little bit. But Duke took care of Siena. Siena is out, and we lost this sound.
5 inches fits in there.
That's right. Siena was, they were trying to get that upset over Duke, and that would have sucked if we'd have lost the number 1 overall seed that quickly. Ohio State and TCU, the final team to be eliminated in our bracket of sound. TCU moved on. That means we lost the 8th seed Ohio State.
He was going against Golad again, and that's been a great battle. It's been a really, really nice.
Who is he going against?
Golad. That's how I say his name?
Okay, that was better.
Gelati.
Yeah.
Kind of like the coffee,
Yes.
a gelati?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not like the coffee.
Okay, like
That helps
gelati.
you? Uh-huh.
So it took me about until September 1st to get Kingsley Suamataia, right? So Galati will get her. The Chiefs like to draft people to screw me up saying their names. I've come to that conclusion. But he's got to get his hands up a little bit, and Galati has done a nice job of is that how you say his name? Gelati.
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 There you go.
Gelati. Okay. Eventually I'll get it. Good battle between those two. So
Yeah.
now I'm afraid to say his name. What's his first name?
Ashton.
Ashton.
Gelati.
Okay, I'm just going to call him Ashton.
Everyone that calls Suamataia Kingsley because they don't like
Yeah.
Kingsley.
Ashton.
Yeah, Actually, that's
Mata.
Yeah, I walked around the house going, Felix Anudike Uzama. And that was a complete waste of my time, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the Suamata Ia work I did
Yeah, he's
will
backing
be
up.
paid
He's
off
backing
more.
up Aston right now. The
Or Ashton.
unofficial. Aston.
Ashton Giletti.
I hope this kid gets cut. I hope he gets cut.
It was so good, man. Galati, Galette, Jalat. All right, I'm just going to call him by his first name. What's his first name? Ashton. Okay, so Aston. We love you, Timmy. Ohio State loses in the first round. There you go. Last teams to be eliminated in our bracket of sound from yesterday's games. Mizzou gets ready for Miami and the Hurricanes tonight. Final game of the opening round. Kansas getting ready for Cal Baptist. We talked a lot about Mizzou in the first hour. Let's play, clip number 7 here. I want to play clip 7 from Bill Self because, Darren Peterson and how he plays is a big factor in how long Kansas is going to keep playing. If we're talking about Kansas still dancing on Monday, Darren Peterson's play over the next 3 days, will be a factor. But here's Bill Self talking about the journey Darren Peterson has taken this year to get to this point.
To be, candid, I feel like that he's made improvement basically week to week, maybe just not at the rate that he had hoped and maybe we had hoped it has been, but end result is he's good now. So the biggest thing is, hey Darren, you're going through some stuff and you're going to go through more stuff in life and in your future, and there's still an opportunity to get the last laugh, but you have to prepare every day for that later on down the road, and this is the later on down the road.
So a lot of the story on Sunday after the bracket came out was Bill Self talking about Melvin Council and, him getting Saturday off because they lost on Friday. And then Bill Self gave him Sunday off. They practiced, Kansas did, but Melvin Council did not practice. And Bill Self then was also happy that they got a Friday game and not a Thursday game in the tournament because it gave him an extra day to rest. Well, here's Bill Self talking about Melvin Council, the impact for him on this team, how he's feeling and getting ready for hopefully what is a couple of weekends of Kansas playing.
Melvin's our energizer. He's our personality. People feed off his energy and personality probably more so than they do on anybody else on the team. And when you talk about portal gets, to me, he's probably about as good a portal get for us as anybody's had as a portal get, because without him, especially not having a Darren full speed, he's saved us multiple times.
Hopefully Melvin is full speed. That's a big one. I mean, he didn't look right in the Big 12 tournament. They didn't play well in Kansas City. Bryson didn't play well. Melvin didn't play well. And that can't happen for them to keep playing. For them to win on Sunday, that can't happen unless UNI gets a crazy victory and then Kansas takes care of business and they don't have to play some of their best basketball, which I think they'll have to play against St. John's. But tonight, they're playing Cal Baptist. And one of the best scorers in America is Dominique Daniels Jr. Well, A.J. DeBanza for BYU. We saw how Texas played that and let him get his. Nobody else is going to get theirs. Bill Self talks about Cal Baptist and, hey, a lot of people talking about Dominique Daniels, but what's going on with Cal Baptist besides Daniels?
I would say their size at the 4 and 5. You go out there and watch them just stretch or shoot around, and their standing height is every bit as much as ours. So they play. They're not big on the perimeter with who they start, but they're certainly long and big inside. I'd say that's something that in that particular league, I would have to say it would be hard for other teams to match up at the 4 and 5 from a height standpoint with those guys.
They've got a really, really strong scorer in Dominique Daniels Jr., and they've got some taller players.
I was going to say Triple D, but that's not how that works.
That's not how it works.
Double D Jr.
Yeah, DDJ. They've got a 6'10", 250, 7 foot, 240, 6'11", 220 on their team, and their front court does Cal Baptist. Missouri getting ready for a physical Miami team. Missouri's got the height. They also need somebody to step up besides Mark Mitchell. One of those guys that had stepped up since he returned from injury was Trent Pierce. Dennis Gates talking about that player who a lot of people feel like could be a key for Mizzou if they win the next 2 games.
He's not a one-on-one player. So sometimes kids, continue to develop. That's what we plan for the offseason for Trent, to continue to get better, continue to develop, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, right? Making sure he stays healthy. 6'10", 6'11", catch and shoot guy is an NBA player in my mind. High basketball IQ on both sides, defensively and offensively. But progress has to be patient, simply because whether it's off-season, whether it's growth, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, you have to have your own race, and he's running his own race.
He talks about he's not a one-on-one player. So how does Trent Pierce get involved? That's relying on other guys. Mark Mitchell can get involved by having the ball in his hands.
That's a good call, by the way, on Gates, of astute. And I think if you're Trent Pierce, you'd like to hear your coach say that of, hey, here's where we want you to improve. We want to give you the ball more. Yeah. We want you to score more. I think players like hearing that and saying, you might be an NBA style of player, 6'10", who can shoot threes, but you got to be more aggressive. You got to learn how to handle the rock more, drive more, because Trent Pierce can be that guy. You can see it. He's just not there yet.
He took 4 threes against Kentucky, was 1 of 4. And I don't care if he was 1 of 4. I would have liked to see him shoot 4 or 5 more threes in the game. I want Trent Pierce shooting 6, 7, 8 threes tonight. If it's catch and shoot, if it's head and shoulder fake, shoot. If it's coming off a screen, turn and firing, shoot. They need somebody besides Mark Mitchell. What happens in the game, Mizzou and KU?
I think Mizzou wins. I'm confident. Right in the storm out, baby. Right out of the hurricane. I think Kansas wins as well pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Kansas takes care of business. I'll go with heart and say Mizzou wins. Michael?
I've got Kansas. I got Miami.
Well, there you go.
Kick rocks, pal.
Well, we'll see.
Pound sand.
Petro, program, Seabolt next.